It's always hard because the camera's in the way, so when I click start recording, I can't actually see the start recording.
Oh, we started recording?
We have started recording. I said this conversation is part of the recording.
Welcome
to
the first and last ever episode 8 of Jet Fuel Express. I'm Tom.
I'm Callum. See, I did it properly
this time. You did it properly this week. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
I'm going to put this mouse away.
It's becoming a bit of a thing, actually. I'm very impressed. We've got a really good one for you this week. We will go down the list of topics that we've got for you guys. I'm going to do this in ASMR fashion as well, okay, Callum? You've heard of ASMR?
I need to turn the autofocus off because that's going to get annoying.
Oh no, the autofocus.
My bad.
Are we going to scrap this then?
No.
You can do this midway.
I can do this midway.
Jesus Christ, this is live editing. This is like TV standard stuff.
Turn that off. Save.
My God.
Okay.
I'm really impressed.
This should hopefully. It is still recording.
You go work for BBC. You should go work for BBC, bro.
I'm too good for BBC.
Right. So, I'm going to do this in ASMR fashion. You've heard of ASMR?
No.
ASMR is a really weird genre of things where people basically get off on other people's voices. They like whisper really close to the microphone like this with a pop shield.
Triggered.
So this week we have introductions. The Facebook trending team have been fired and the robot's gone crazy. The greatest conspiracy theories of all time. Part 1. Chemtrails. A unified world government. Digital bill rights. And some other topics for you, as well as our usual outro. That was a fantastic burp, by the way. That's comedic timing.
I felt it coming out. I was like, wait for it.
So what have you been up to? You've been very active this week. What have you been up to then, Callum? Tell the nice people.
Stuff, really. Nothing important.
Bit of ASMR. If I could burp, I'd have burped right there.
Oh, you can't, can you? You've got issues.
Digestive issues.
So yeah, it was my mate's stag do on Saturday. Shout out to Chris. He's getting married this Saturday.
Do you remember that time Chris did that thing?
Oh my God. Actually, hang on. Did you look through my Snapchat story?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the one? He had his bag on his head.
Yeah. That's Chris. Is that the stag himself?
That's the stag himself.
Good luck, Chris. You're gonna need it.
I don't know. I think that might have been because what happened was like I don't know because I came back and he had it on his head. And pretty much, I think they'd gone to the bar. I don't know if it was one of the cards or whatever, because we had a deck of 52 cards, and you had to draw a card, and you had to do whatever was on the card, or have a forfeit, which is also on the card.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came back on it, and pretty much, like I think they went to the bar and said, "Can we have like a carrier bag?" It's like, and they gave him a really crappy one, and then someone came back with a proper Sainsbury's one, like that one, had a little hole in it, so he just tore this massive hole, and he wore it for the rest of the night.
They'll do anything for stags. This is what I noticed on the nights out. Like they'll do anything for people on a hen do, and anything for people on a stag do. You can do anything. You could beat a man to death in a corner. They'd be like, "Oh, it's a stag do. Leave him to it."
We almost had that. Well, no, we didn't. Alright, so
Chris, what did you do, you psychopath?
Right, again, like I told you earlier, one of the cards we had was someone had to trade a shot for a condom, right? And literally, he got a shot, went to the guy next to him and said, you want to trade it? And the guy did it. It's like that. Amazing. We stayed with this guy for the rest of the night. And he literally, like I said again, he got to the stage where he got the whole pack of cards and he was going for every single one, trying to do everything to earn his place in the stag do.
Bless him, yeah.
No.
Trying to assert his place. Trying to be a metropolitan man.
What happened was, he was like, alright, I'm going to go try and find my missus because she'd wandered off. And she was really fucked.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll help you. I'll go help you. And then we'll say goodbye, whatever. And I saw her getting off with another dude. And the guy that I was with just walked over, just smacked the dude in the face, and then literally went, I think because he said something to him, and then put his hand out to shake it, as if to say you
didn't know, or like whatever,
and
done.
And the guy was like, I'll shake his hand, and then one of this guy's mates came and attacked the other guy, and I was like, goodbye.
I'm done.
I was like, goodbye.
I'm done.
Just walked away. And
Jesus Christ. What did he do about the girl though? Like, it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango, Callum.
I don't know, because
what did about the woman?
To be fair,
did he backhand her as well?
Brishan said, like, apparently that girl spent like the entire night just trying to get off of him, and he was just like, no, thank you.
You get women like that though, like that are into like the cuckolding thing.
But then we saw her later on.
She's just a terrible person. Just a terrible person. Like, this poor guy is like, just like, no, I love her. And all his mates are like, mate, she's tried to get off with every single one of us. In fact, she has. She has gotten off every single one of us. He's like, but I love her though. You can't just keep attacking the other people, mate.
But like we saw her later on in the night, like when we were just like, we got food and we were getting like a taxi and that.
Yeah.
And she was like on her own because he just fucked off apparently. She couldn't find him.
Good luck getting home, bitch. Where were you guys again?
Reading.
Reading.
It was
Oh,
Reading.
shit. Basically, he left her for dead.
No, she just
She's as good as dead.
No, because I
She'll sleep her way back to him. It's like, do you know that guy trading an item? He traded a paperclip and then ended up getting a house in the end.
Yeah.
It's like that, but she's sleeping with people instead.
Trained to seaman, prefer seaman.
She's like, if I can't find my boyfriend, I'll just make another one. Oh god.
Yeah.
But people like that, man, that's strange. On a stag do as well, it's just like, jeez, you expect a little bit of trouble, but not from some random guy who's tagged on to your stag do with his whore girlfriend.
I thought he was quite a cracking bloke. I chatted with him for ages. But it's just when that sort of shit happens, you think, how? It's like one of them was like, he had to do a conga. He had to start a conga. So it's me. Like he started it, I joined on, and just like 2 other people ended up joining us. We just congered around the entire like bar, just up the stairs, round through it, outside man. And shit.
That's some 80s stag do stuff. I like that. I like that.
But there was quite a few good cards and stuff. But it's just, yeah. I mean, a lot of them we started it when we weren't drunk enough, so a lot of them we didn't end up doing. But he did. So fair play to him. So even though he slapped the fuck out of some dude who got off with his fiancée, and I never saw him again.
What if that was... What if that wasn't even his girlfriend? If it was just some like random girl and he just introduces her all the time as like, this is my girlfriend.
No, fiancée.
No, that's it. He's like, wait, she was his fiancée. She was getting off with loads of other dudes.
They've been engaged for like 2 weeks.
Oh my god. What a terrible mistake.
But,
you see why I don't believe in marriage, Callum?
He proposed to him when they were both on pills.
So they're both high on MCAT in a corner. He's like, hey, do you want to get married? She's like, can I still fuck other guys? He's like, starts drooling. And she's like, I'll take that as a yes.
That's what you do. That's a fucking rom-com right there.
Christ alive.
Dear Hugh
What
Grant
is
on
society coming to?
I don't know. Oh, but yeah, so that was...
That guy, if that dude's listening right now through some sort of weird circumstance, you need to drop that girl right now, okay? You need to drop her. And I don't mean with a fist. I mean, you just need to get rid of her out of your life. You don't need that negativity.
Use your ring hand.
Oh god. Raise that ring hand strong. I actually have my rings on today. I feel naked.
I have both mine on.
It's because it's a sunny day. Oh, that vascular. Oh.
I'm not going to ask what you've done because you're just going to say gym.
No.
Yeah.
No, I've done more than that.
Yeah, but you always say
I've done
gym.
more than that.
Yeah, but you always say gym.
No, nothing spectacular happened this week. The only thing is more, I've noticed I'm becoming a little bit more vascular. That's it at the gym now. Because of these drills that have been shown. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. What have I been up to? So I had my little brother and sister over. And they began to abuse me. Basically, the problem is they've got too much of my sense of humour now. Oh. And one of them's 13, one of them's 15, and he is now faster than I am in terms of wit. I can't. He runs rings around me. Like I'll try and rip it out of him, and next thing I know, I'm sat there in the corner crying, and he's like laughing his face off.
I love this geezer.
Oh, he's gonna grow up to be a fantastic young man. My little sister's she's 13, and she is way too mature for being 13. Like I think it's because of the sense of humour I've exposed her to from a young age. Like she's got a very dry sense of humour for a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah.
But no, she's great. We had them over, went for a Jamaican meal, had a whole chicken. Whole chicken with a nice mango salad.
Yeah.
Homemade ginger beer.
Took a picture of that, didn't you?
Took a picture of that, Instagrammed it, IG.
Do you want to see one of the people?
I want to see one of these people.
Do
you want to show the camera as well? Oh, whoa, Jesus!
That's Matt.
So for audio listeners, imagine pull the picture back up again.
Oh, son of a bitch.
So for audio listeners, imagine if Harry Potter took a lot of MDMA and then got constipated.
Look at that picture. Because it's part of that
Can I just say, right?
It's
The guy that's
so
on the
bad.
left looks a lot like Shane.
He sounds a lot like Shane.
Yeah, he looks and sounds
He
a lot
is
like Shane. Someone we used to go
It
to school
scared
with.
me when I was talking to him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I know you. He's such a nice bloke.
Um,
But it's just like, it was Shane. With really short hair.
I mean, other
He
than...
was also getting engaged.
Was he also getting engaged? Why are so many people making mistakes, Callum? Why are so many people making mistakes? I don't get it. But yeah. So other than seeing my little brother and sister, I've been playing a lot, like 25 hours over the weekend in terms of a lot of The Witcher 3.
Oh yeah.
That's over 3 days. Not that it makes it any better.
No.
But my God, I tried getting into that game a few times, and it never grabbed me because there's so much to do. But then they've put a new update out, and it sort of helps you to prioritise quests and all that, and now I'm hooked. Like, the writing is fantastic, mature, dark. It's like...
And there's sex.
It's like Game of Thrones crossed with Lord of the Rings. Yeah? That's how I would describe it, but with more of the Game of Thrones style thing on it, and it's like monsters and stuff. Oh yeah, there's a lot of sex in that game. It's pretty good. And there's this like one mission chain I was explaining to you earlier where this witch is like, hey, do a couple of favours for me and then we'll have sex later. And you're like, I was like, yeah, I'll do it, man. I see those pixelated boobies. And then, sorry, polygonal. It's not pixels, they're polygons. My mistake, Callum. How could I get that wrong? And yeah, so you do 2 favours, and that took a couple of hours, and then another 3 hours later, because she keeps adding favours on, typical female, keeps adding favours on, you fuck her, right? And it's really full frontal nudity and stuff, and I was like, oh my goodness gracious, because in The Witcher 1, all they did is gave you these cards with like naked women on it, and then Witcher 2, you didn't really see much. This is full frontal pornography, Callum. I've seen things. This poor little innocent mind of mine is corrupted. And then in the very next sub-quest, because she knocks you out with a spell, very next sub-quest you kill her. It's just like you're a Black Widow. But like you have to kill her because of the story and all that. But yeah, so I just thought it was really sort of but the way the writing works, it works really well. And another sort of random piece of news, I've unsubbed at the moment because I haven't got the money until I start my new job now, although I've got a credit card. And it's like having a loaded gun, because it's just like, I got interest free for 25 months as long as I pay my £5 a month minimum. Anyway, so I could sub, but I'm choosing not to because World of Warcraft expansion came out literally last night, Legion. All my friends playing it, and I'm having to show so much restraint.
I'm not playing it.
So much restraint.
You said all your friends are playing it. I'm not playing it.
You're less of a friend, more like a sort of, I guess more like a family member.
I was going to say, choose your words carefully.
Yeah, more like a family member. No, it's just hard to say because you've ascended past the best friend point. You're sending past best, and then there's only sort of really that way to go with that. So I'd say more like a brother. Yeah, more like a brother. And I'd say all my friends back up in Lincoln,
Sado.
They're playing it. I know. Don't worry, I'm gonna hang myself later. It's fine. Oh yeah, and there's also a subquest in Witcher 3 where this character's called the Bloody Baron, and you're literally doing quests with him for like 10 hours. He's like a major character and all that. And I guess I got the bad ending because he ended up hanging himself. And literally you come back to get payment from a quest. It's the most random thing because you've just come to this crescendo of stuff and it's like all awesome. You're like, yeah, I did it, I solved all it. You come back and he's just hanging from a tree and you're like, you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy's had so much character development. But that's the kind of, it's like Game of Thrones. Like anything can happen. Like people get killed mid-sentence. If you're in a cutscene, they just get shot by an arrow and you're like, this major character's dead. It's good. It's really good. So yeah, pretty much video games, gym, seeing family. Graduate in 6 days, so I've got my graduation ceremony. So next week will be a graduation special.
No, it won't.
It's not really going to be a graduation
really
special.
won't.
I'm just going to tell you about the graduation ceremony.
Yeah.
But I can't go out and get drunk afterwards with my friends because it's really nice. I have my nan and granddad there, but as a result, I can't go out afterwards because they need to go home. So I have to like go home with my family.
But all
afterwards.
of Tom's uni friends have to tell the worst stories about Tom while they're in the same room as these people.
My parents want to like share a drink with them and all that to get to know because they're like
you must tell them everything.
You really
everything.
Please don't. If you bring up Black Monday, any of you guys that are listening, if you bring up Black Monday in front of my parents, I swear to God, I will end you.
Can you also message me the details of Black Monday?
No, we don't talk about Black Monday except we do all the time.
I need to know what happened now.
we had this thing. No, I can't tell you. It's
one of them will message me.
And the thing is, like, we always had this thing. It's like Fight Club. We're like, you don't mention Black Monday, and then literally every time we got out drinking, after we had like 2 pints, we were like, do you remember what happened on Black Monday when he did this? And we're like, Jesus Christ. It was like one of those things. And once one person brings it up,
you should make a rule now where if someone brings it up, they have to buy a round of shots or something.
We'd all be broke. And Steve buys shots all the bloody time anyway. We don't have a chance to get them ourselves.
He'll just go, Black Monday, step up and be like, I was going to get him anyway.
Yeah, we've got this really good friend called Steve, and we normally have tame nights out. We just say, we'll go for one drink and we'll get some beer and that. And then Steve, he's in his 50s. We love Steve. He's a mature student. He'll come back to the table with just a tray of shots, and we're like, well, that's it then. I guess this is turned into one of those evenings. So yeah, we did that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for intro from me. Just a quick plug. We have a subreddit now, so if you guys haven't gone on there, just submit stuff from there. Any cool news stories you found, anything weird, anything you want to talk about, feedback on the episodes. Post all the episodes on there. We're going to be creating some other content as well on top of the podcast. We're also thinking of doing a separate show, so we'll be doing 2 shows a week. I'll bring you more details of that later on. But yeah, so we've got a few exciting things. So subscribe to the subreddit, which is reddit.com/r/jetfuelexpress or jetfuelexpress.reddit.com. That's our housekeeping done.
Thank you for watching the episode.
Yeah, this has been.
We just wanted to plug the subreddit. We're going to IKEA.
So we are actually going to IKEA after this. So basically, our first topic we wanted to bring up this week. So any of you guys that use Facebook, which is pretty much everyone apart from, like, I'll say this by the way, I want to delete, every time I boot up Facebook, I want to delete Facebook. The only thing that keeps me like using Facebook is the fact that A, I can share events, B, this podcast, we can promote our stuff, and C, it's a photo album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
I just use it to make myself feel better about myself.
Yeah, but this is the thing,
because there's so many like people that just like
what I do is
depress me.
And that's what I mean. So I go on Facebook and I still keep them as friends, but I remove their posts from my timeline so I can't see them. If anything's negative, so I try and remove any sort of negativity from my life, so I don't sort of like think horrible things about people. Because I admit sometimes I can be a bit snide in my mind, and I'll see someone like, couples posting things like, oh my goodness, we're so happy. And I'm thinking, you're not happy because you're posting on Facebook.
Yeah, but that's why I enjoy that sort of thing. It makes me feel better about myself.
It does. Instead, for me, it makes me feel better about myself, and then I actually start feeling bad about myself for feeling better about myself because other people aren't doing so well. Do you understand what I mean?
I haven't got to that stage yet.
So what I do is I remove that. But the thing is, I'm starting to run out of people to remove. So
it's just me, isn't it?
It's just me. It's me that's the problem. But
it's just me on the feed.
Like, pretty much. Yeah.
I only post like once.
I've got a lot of people on my feed still, but basically because of that, I just think Facebook's an unhealthy thing in the first place.
It kind of is.
I don't think it's healthy to see every aspect of people's lives. But hey, we'll use it as part of this generation. But what we want to talk about is, if you notice on the right hand side, as I say, people who use Facebook will notice this. You've noticed
Facebook
this.
on PC.
Facebook on PC, yeah.
You don't really get it on the mobile.
You can get the trending topics on the mobile, but it's not on a right hand bar like it is on everything else. But on PC or laptop or whatever, there's this right hand bar and it's called trending topics, and basically what it does is it has web crawlers that crawl out to see what everyone on Facebook and people in the news are talking about, and then it puts it as a topic, so you can click on it and it's a summary of all the news stories relating to that one piece of news or a person. Now what people didn't know until last week was it was actually hand curated by a team of people that worked at Facebook, and last week when everyone found out, Facebook sacked all of them. Not because they found out, I think people found out because they were sacked. So they did have a bot that was using these crawlers, but then people were curating that, so they were taking things. And Facebook said, actually no, we're going to cut down, we think the bot can do it by itself, so bye, and then the bot went mental because they had no one monitoring it. You had some amazing stories in the first day of this bot. You may have seen it on the right hand side, just it spewing out the most biggest, because if you notice, the internet is a cesspool of shit. People just talk shit. And it was putting out all these, like, it put out one false news story about a news reporter saying that she's being fired and that she was a Hillary Clinton supporter openly, which is why she's being fired. And she was like, I'm being fired? She was like, am I being fired? She's like, what? So she was confused and all that, and it turned out it just some guy started a rumour. People started posting about it, so the bot picked up on it and put it in the sidebar of everyone.
Because it was trending.
Because it was trending. And then we had another one, which is a Saturday Night Live star, was accused of calling someone a cunt. I'm not going to say it. I have said the word before.
I think that's the one word we have to try and not say.
Yeah, because it's, especially for Americans, like, apparently it's like really big taboo. I was talking to a few American
is,
guys,
yeah,
and they were like, "Whoa, you British guys throw it around all the time, like over here."
British,
it's massive.
American, not American, Australian.
Yeah. So
There's a guy I used to work with who just hated that word.
I mean,
so that's when we deliberately say it more.
In my personal life, I'll say that to other people, but I just think we need to have a line in the sand somewhere, and I think that should be it, really.
Okay.
So I'll say anything else, but just not the C word, I guess. Even though my opinion on swearing is that you choose to be offended by words, not me.
Exactly.
So if you can't control your emotions, that's your problem, not mine. But I'm still not going to say it because I don't want to upset people. So yeah, there's a Saturday Night Live star. I don't know which one it was, but in the article I was reading, it said a Saturday Night Live star was falsely accused of calling another celebrity a cunt. So on Twitter they start going mentally. Johnny's like, "What's this you said about me?"
I didn't do it.
Yeah, they're like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
I love that halfway through you end up tweeting like, "You actually are one, aren't you?"
I've thought it all along. The bot's like a mind reader. But no, and that's once again because someone started a rumour,
and
people started posting about it, so it became trending, and there's no one to monitor it, so it just went straight up on the bar. Then finally, and this is probably my favourite one, and I had no idea. I had to actually go and Google this because I didn't. Normally, I'm up to date on trends.
I heard about it on the Philip DeFranco show.
And I didn't watch Philip DeFranco much this week. Actually, I need to get back on that. I'm going to buy one of his t-shirts, by the way.
DeFranco 2024.
Don't be fucking stupid. And yeah, and I want the DeFranco 2024.
Oh yeah, I need the don't be stupid.
Yeah, I like that one. But yeah, there's one. It's the McChicken sandwich story. Now, if thankfully you don't know what this is, don't Google it. Don't go out and search for it. You do not want to see this.
I haven't seen it. I've just heard of it.
I've unfortunately seen it
because
I went on Twitter and put the hashtag in because it was hashtag McChicken sandwich. It was one of the top trending on Twitter as well as Facebook.
Because he put it in. That's what he put it in. He said, and just see it straight away.
And everyone was posting about it on Facebook. Everyone was posting about it on Twitter. Basically, it's a man with a rather large phallus. He's an African American man. He's got rather large phallus, and
it's a stereotype.
And he is having sexual intercourse with a McChicken sandwich from McDonald's with mayonnaise in it as well. And it has to be. It has to be probably one of the most striking images of 2016. Do you know you've got the image of that girl covered in napalm in Vietnam where she's running down the road naked, and that was like a symbolism of the horrors of war.
Say, like, for this year, you got the Syrian.
Yep,
Syrian
the
kid.
Syrian one, Aylan Kurdi, the drowned Syrian kid. Sorry, I know the Syrian kid. That was last year, Aylan Kurdi. This year's the one with the kid with the blood down one side. Isn't it sad that we're talking about like horrors of war pictures of this year, and then no, that one was last year. That's terrible.
I know.
That should be like once in a generation thing, if at all. Yeah, you have like the one of like the Vietnam War. You have the fall of the Reichstag as like a thing. The raising of the American flag. And then 2016 is going to be a man fucking a McChicken sandwich. And once again, because it was uncurated, McChicken sandwich went straight to the top of everyone's Facebook trending topics. And my God, the fallout of this has been incredible. Like, Facebook have had mass complaints. People have been reporting them to the FTC in America, which I don't think the FTC has a domain over. I don't think they have jurisdiction over Facebook. One of them does. They have like various communication committees and stuff. Commissions, sorry. I don't think the FTC does, but they've had thousands of complaints because of it. Because they're like, this isn't safe for work and blah blah. Although my counteract to that is why you're on Facebook at work.
Damn, man.
It's like
your job.
It's like I saw.
Unless you work at Facebook.
Yeah, that's true. On Kind of Funny.
Then sort out the trending.
On Kind of Funny, I saw there was this video, and it's with Barbara from Rooster Teeth, and the video is called "How to Swallow." Basically, Barbara's quite open about her sexuality and stuff. Very attractive lady, very open about sexuality. Good first, great man, cool. And there was a video about whether you should or not. And she was like, "Yeah, I do, man. Yeah, hell yeah. It's like cleaner and neater." And she's explained the best way to do it now. I was like, okay, bit of a strange video, but fair enough. But the title of it is like "How to Swallow," and it has a picture of like basically Barbara and all that. And this guy put a comment underneath saying, I've unsubscribed because I'm tired of seeing these videos pop up at work. Like, what if my boss sees it? And they just replied saying, "Why are you on YouTube at work though?" And I was like, yeah,
it's true though.
Yeah, you can't complain. Like, you shouldn't be on YouTube at work. Facebook I can understand because some recruitment agencies and stuff, they use Facebook as like a means of communication and stuff.
Exactly.
Then there's nothing wrong with having 5 minutes of downtime in between tasks and that to do that kind of thing. But then equally, like, you can't really blame a content creator for creating content they want to create and then you saying, "Hey, I'm consuming it at a place I shouldn't be consuming it."
That's like suing Pornhub by saying, "Hey, my boss caught me watching porn at work."
Jacob Sartorius has a verified porn account on Twitter now, by the way. 12-year-old boy. That's so messed up. a 12-year-old boy has a verified Pornhub account.
You need to get a Pornhub account.
No, we really don't. I don't want people remembering me for that. I had someone say to me the other day, if you died, the only thing I'd remember you for is Harambe memes.
Oh, mate. Guess what my stag name was?
Harambe.
Harambe.
Oh my
Harambe.
god, that was great. Did you have like code names? Like Ice King and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, the stag had to sort of assign names.
That's cool. I like that.
I got given this name when we did Laser Quest, like Laser Tag.
Yeah.
And I went to the toilet, and Matt was like, "Oh, what's his name?" They were, "Oh, we got to give him a nickname." Matt was like, "I'll give him a fucking nickname." And he's like, Harambe.
I love that. I was actually, if gorilla costumes weren't so expensive, I would actually go as Harambe to Halloween this year. But like, I'd spray paint it white, so it was like Harambe's ghost.
Your name.
Let's have a look. Bold Bear, Stagman, Priest, Gapman, Greg, Chungo.
That was brilliant.
Why is Chungo so good?
I don't know.
Greg.
Oh, mate, Greg.
You've got all these people.
Greg was
Stagman, Priest, Gapman, your name, Harambe. That's ridiculous.
No, Greg was
Forever in our hearts.
It was like Chris has a guinea pig.
Yeah.
I don't know how there's a story came about like someone shaving a bear and saying it was like a woman or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're saying we got to like shave the guinea pig, make it like the world's smallest like human, and we're gonna call it Greg or something. It was funny when we were talking about it because I can't exactly remember the ins and outs, but it was just like that's why Greg became a funny thing.
No, I like it, man. I like it. Right, what do you want to move on to next? Do you want to move on to that, or do you want to do your one first? I think maybe your one first.
Yeah, let's get mine out of the way.
Not out of the way. It's a good topic, but I just think it'd be a good warm up and a little bit of a slide.
I'll give you a fucking
slide. Oh,
this page is updated.
A bit more ASMR.
Don't worry.
A bit more ASMR for all of you guys. That's actually quite good. They like it when lips smack together and you can hear the tongue as well. People are really weird that like this. I'm actually going to put I'm going to tag one of the YouTube tags and one of our podcast tags. I'm going to put hashtag ASMR in it from now on. I should do ASMR videos on Instagram as well. Can you imagine that?
Should get the page on Instagram. The thing on Instagram.
Ooh, I like that. Why don't I do that before we head out to IKEA? Then we can get some IKEA memes. Thinking about the important shit that matters.
Do it now. While I talk about this, do it now.
Okay.
Go.
I'm doing it.
Right. Da. Read about this morning. Well, I said this morning. Like, it says 2 hours ago. So there you go. But Jeremy Corbyn is proposing a digital Bill of Rights, where every home and business in the UK would have guaranteed access to high-speed broadband as part of the digital Bill of Rights. I'm totally not just reading this off the BBC website. So he said, in his Digital Democracy Manifesto, the Labour leader said slow broadband was, I quote, a barrier to learning and a source of social and economic exclusion.
Testify.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's her. I know her.
Yeah.
I know that
Went to school with her. So I was just checking my Instagram timeline. I got distracted.
Oh yeah, but I have to do something, don't I?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently he said providing a truly universal UK service across would cost £25 billion. Yeah.
Fuck.
We could build a wall for that.
We need to build a wall.
Keep out the French. Anyway.
But it'd be worth it. Because it's an investment. No, not the wall.
I'm thinking of the wall. Keep the damn French out.
The fucking... Dickhead. Fucking hell. I think the digital bill of rights would be worth the money. I think it'd be worth that investment into infrastructure.
This is quite a good thing as well. He said he pledged to, as he's again quoting, democratise.
Democratise.
Democratise. Thank you. I can speak. Democratise the internet if he took power, including consulting on online election voting.
Right. I was all for this. Until this week. So this is fresh. It was actually a topic that I was going to bring up. Yeah, we're on Instagram. This week, can you do the verification thing?
I'll do it now.
Yeah, because it's easier than me having to log on to the email. There's been a breach in the US. The FBI said there's been a breach into the electronic voting system in the US. So someone's actually managed to hack in and alter things. Sorry?
Have you watched Scandal? You should watch Scandal. It's really good.
Oh, yeah? But basically, like, what they're saying is it's a big issue. Obviously, it's a big issue. But what everyone's saying is actually it shows a wider issue that the FBI presides over that and, investigate it and that. And they're saying if they've been able to successfully get in, who's to say that people aren't already altering the election results? And what if it's the FBI preemptively covering up, like, if anything goes wrong in this election and they elect who they want, what if that's them just saying, oh, someone else did it, weren't us? Stuff like that. So I was for it, but I don't think you can ever have anything 100% secure until quantum computing exists and you have that sort of encryption. Even then, if you can get the encryption key, you never know who has that, then it's not secure anyway. So yeah, it's all very strange.
I like how I need the password.
Yeah. I'm impressed. I'm just going to add the profile photo and stuff like that. So keep going about it.
I was going to say, you know what the picture is? The first picture you have to upload. You know what the first picture you have to upload?
What's that?
The one that
The Taylor Swift one?
The Taylor Swift one.
She got a boob job, yo.
And some guy noticed.
Taylor, I love you. Marry me.
But again, like, just, quickly, completely going away from what we were talking about, she also did jury duty. I like that when celebrities do the normal man thing.
Well, she has to.
I know, but like, so those celebrities get out of it.
Yeah, but they're all normal people.
I know, but I mean, it's good to see a normal person actually trying to do the normal person thing. And all she did was just sit around, like, chatting with everyone, taking selfies. She wasn't like a big, like, fucking leave me alone, I don't want to be here.
Well, I mean, a lot of people...
She contributed to society.
Judges now in the UK, so normally it's lay people who have to do jury duty. It's people who aren't legally trained. Even judges in the UK can be summoned for jury duty now.
I want to make Taylor Swift my lay person.
That was a pretty good joke for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Claps for Callum.
Thank you. I remember when we used to do Untitled and it was snaps.
Yeah, snaps for Callum. But no, the reason why I think that's interesting is because...
Oh yeah, by the way, Femi's not here because he's dying.
Yeah, we did actually plan to have Femi on. Sadly, he's dying of man flu. So we will have a Femi special. We keep saying this every week. We did actually want to give it to you this week. Sadly, Femi couldn't be with us. We planned it, we had it ready, and sadly Femi
decided to be a little bitch.
Why? Just getting back to the topic while I remember, because I'm still like doing this bloody Instagram thing. It's interesting that this digital Bill of Rights is being proposed because the UK has a largely uncodified constitution, which means there's no entrenched rights. So for people who don't sort of look into constitutional law and politics and that kind of stuff, basically what it means is America have a constitution, which means their laws are written down, which means they're binding. So no one can change them. There are processes in place to change them. So 2/3 of both house, etc. So it means that they have rights that they can assert. So they can say, I know my rights, my right is this. In the UK, we barely have any codified rights. The majority of our rights come from the European Union, which, as everyone knows, we're going to probably leave when Article 50 is triggered. So this leaves us in a position where, and Theresa May is proposing this thing called a British Bill of Rights, which is terrible idea. I mean, well, it's a good idea in paper, but it's her and her government that are producing the Bill of Rights for the future.
All disabled people will be put down.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, it's stuff like that, because so it's a huge thing making a constitution. Having a codified British Bill of Rights is a big thing because it's entrenched, so it means it's so hard to change. So having one government create rights that they have put in place, is that democratic? Like, is it one of those things? I know we talked about democracy a couple of weeks ago, but is that actually democratic to have one? What I'm saying is it's a bit of an odd situation. Like, it's a bit scary that she's proposing that the Conservative government create rights for all British people and the Conservative government are the ones that do it.
Especially considering they've taken so much away. One
way of doing it, and why I like what Jeremy Corbyn is suggesting, is you create constitutions for certain... It's like legislation forms a constitution, but it's more of a sort of scattered thing. Americans have a single constitution with their rights, their basic rights, and then the courts interpret that, and common law creates more rights, etc. What Jeremy Corbyn is suggesting is a way of sort of making modules, if you know what I mean. It's sort of like saying, well, hey, we're going to codify this, and this goes towards a codified Bill of Rights, but it's a digital Bill of Rights that protects your rights on the internet. So from things like the TTIP, which is absolutely awful. We had SOPA a couple of years ago, 2012, 2013, where it was trying to like allow people to tamper with our rights on the internet, things like piracy and that. The funniest thing is, the internet is not an easy thing to control. It's not. So,
well, but again, good example. Like, remember that picture of Beyonce?
Yeah.
And it was like she was like, lawyers trying to get everyone to take it down, and as soon as they try to get everyone to take it down, it spread even more.
Well, the funniest thing is this thing called the Streisand effect.
Streisand.
Yeah, where basically the more you try to hide something, the more attention it brings to people.
it, yeah.
So if they hadn't mentioned that photo, it'd have done the rounds once on the internet, but because they tried to do it, people started making posts saying Beyonce's trying to have this removed. Post it more, so everyone
share
did.
It. Everybody share it.
Basically, it's like the more
I think I shared it.
the more people,
I'm a bastard.
I
am a bastard.
the more people talk about something to try and hide it, the worse it becomes. I'm just grabbing the picture from the Jet Fuel Express page.
I was like, are you checking your Facebook now?
No, I'm just trying.
I
to
just
get
love
the
seeing
picture.
Jello, George.
Yeah.
What was
So
the other thing I saw on there?
it's an interesting proposal.
He also wanted because again, so many places and different areas of like the UK get different speeds and different 4G coverage and all that stuff. He's like, I want them all to all the companies to almost sort of work together in a sense to help everyone get good access.
Yeah.
I've mentioned BT as well, they don't share all their fibre optic stuff, and they really should and stuff. I can say stuff a lot, apparently.
Well, it's interesting though, because then you come across the topic of is it starting to nationalise the internet? Because is that not what he's essentially?
But he's trying to
suggesting?
nationalise everything, though, isn't he? He wants to nationalise the train service. He wants to make sure the NHS is.
Jeremy, no! This is why
properly
people don't
nationalised.
like you, Jeremy. Nationalising things makes it so inefficient. If there's not profit in it, people don't give a fuck, and then things fall apart. Do not nationalise things. Nationalising the rail service, terrible idea. It already is running inefficiently. Just don't fucking do it.
And they want the minimum speed for everywhere to be at least 10 megabytes a second by 2020.
It pretty much is anyway. The only places that don't have it are in the remote countryside, and they have to use
That's what I mean.
satellites.
Yeah,
because
they don't get anything.
Because running lines, the reason why, funnily enough, places in the countryside do not have good internet is because it costs millions to lay fibre optic cable, tens of miles, sometimes hundreds of miles outside of fucking civilization. If you want good internet, don't live in the countryside. It's simple. And I know, so I'm all in favour of people having good internet speeds, because it is a barrier to learning.
But you can't have cows as well.
You can't have your cake and eat it. You can't say, well, I can't live away from civilization. That's a Fat Tom joke, haha. You can't live away from civilization and then expect to have all the perks civilization has, if you know what I mean. It's just one of those things. My ex lived out in the countryside, and she was like, yeah, we're not going to get good internet because we have to use satellite internet. It's just accepted. Don't live in the countryside if you want good internet. Sorry. Rant over.
Nice. Have you done it yet?
No, I'm ready to post our first thing. You wanted this.
Post
You have to
it.
keep the people busy.
I'll keep you busy. So, how have you been today?
You're talking to me.
No, them.
You can't post things from your computer.
Wait, what?
You can't post things from a computer.
Fuck you, Instagram.
Oh, I can follow Taylor Swift though. She's our first follow. And then I'm going to post on our phone later.
Okay, fine.
But yeah. So, are we done with that topic then? Is that what you want to say on that one? Okay. Right. So, we have an exciting new section that I mentioned earlier when we were giving you a bit of ASMR. And it's called...
We're going to play that chicken video all on loop. Goodbye.
It's like the reaction videos from Two Girls, One Cup, except it's us just vomiting. It pretty much is the same reaction. So we've got a new section called The Greatest Conspiracy Theories of All Time.
This is part 1.
I feel like we should have some sort of jingle,
Good luck with that. Ask Jeff.
Hang on, let me see if I can...
And Jeff will say no.
Let me see if I can find a good...
He's dead.
Let me see if I can find
Femi
a
got
good...
to him with the flu. Damn it, Femi.
I'll see if I can find some dramatic music. See if I can get a little jingle in there for you.
This is
This one. I just picked one at random. What a terrible, terrible piece of dramatic music.
Don't worry about copyright either. That's fine.
I won't. Fuck you, Michael Price.
Hey, wait, there's another one.
And Rail Jones. Fuck you both. I don't give a shit about your copyright. The people needed to hear that music. But no, basically what we're going to do is... There are 30... I came across a list, and it's the 30 greatest conspiracy theories of all time. And I've had a look through, and I think it make a great sort of recurring section that fits in well with the theme of our thing. 'Cause you guys said you enjoyed the conspiracy theories we've been over before. Now, we're on part 1. Okay? Part 1. And that is the fantastic, very widely known theory of chemtrails. What are chemtrails, you'll ask? So, chemtrails. Do you know when you look up in the sky on a lovely summer's day, and you see in the blue sky, you see a plane flying past, there's some sort of weird stream that's out behind it. It looks like a cloud, but like a long string that follows a plane, and eventually it disperses. Now, scientifically, the explanation for those is when you're at the altitude, and the way the aerofoils work, the rapid compression and decompression of air around the aerofoils on a plane or through the jet engines on a plane causes condensation, because you have a rapid amount of heat and pressure, and then that disperses on the other side of the aerofoil, so you get condensation. And then obviously at that altitude, that freezes or turns into water vapour and forms like little clouds. Now that disperses over time as it does. It's basically how clouds are formed, but in a weird sort of way. Now, that's the scientific theory for it. Now, there are fantastic conspiracy theorists that believe these are chemicals that are being sprayed by it ranges from the American government to a sinister plot by the world government, or the NWO, the New World Order, basically the Illuminati.
What, you mean Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. Let me spray that sulfuric acid and aluminium nitrate, brother. You know, that kind of thing.
And then I'll destroy Gawker.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many theories on what chemicals they are, but the one sort of where they all converge, everyone sort of seems to think that it's a mix of sulfuric acid and aluminium nitrate, I believe it was, and it's for a range of reasons. Now, they believe that it can be, the UK ones mainly believe it's to control the weather. So the American government wants to control the weather by 2025, according to these people. So they can use it for warfare or for, you know, that kind of thing. And there's another theory that says it's as a way of poisoning the public to keep us ill and keep us downtrodden so we don't rise up and all that kind of stuff. And then finally, my favourite one. No, sorry, there's another one where it's to try and eventually block out the sun to prevent global warming.
Mr. Burns.
They refer to it as what's the word? Geomorphing or something like that. There is a thing here. I'm on the Chemtrails Project UK website, which is a full, really nicely styled website.
You can make a donation.
What is it called? Geoengineering. That's what they call it. Geoengineering, where they're trying to affect the planet with that. And I mean, there are a lot of nutheads that really buy into this.
I live in central Liverpool. What a nutter. Why
Yeah,
would you
what a
live in
crazy man.
central
But,
Liverpool?
no, I mean, like, some of these people are kind of like reasonable. They just seem to have the wool pulled over their eyes a little bit. And once again, it's like we talked about before, where people want to believe that there's these big schemes that control their life because it gives them structure. It doesn't make them feel like Scientology. But kind of like Scientology, I guess, or religion in general, where people like to think there's this great structure that guides their lives and all that, because they can't face the fact that life is chaotic and random, my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions.
Jesus would have fucking hated you.
Yeah, I hope he does. I'm glad he's dead. Sorry, no, he isn't dead. He died.
He rose again.
And then he died for our sins, and then he rose again, so that we have our sins forgiven by God, who's actually Jesus, as part of the Holy Trinity. Yeah, let's not go into that. But yeah, and basically they think that it's a way of controlling the populace, the planet, or the weather, essentially what they think. And the best one is where they think it's the American. There's, for some reason, I couldn't find any trace of this, but where the Americans said they want to own the weather by 2025, and a way of this is spraying these chemicals. I swear to God, this
sounds like something Donald Trump would come up with.
It's fantastic.
I'm gonna own
It's fantastic.
the weather.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I can't find a trace of this apart from on these websites. It's like they've just sort of plucked this theory out there and gone, yeah. It's like like the flat Earth people, where they're saying like the planet's a disc and it's accelerating upwards, and constantly. And it's like, yeah, you've forgotten about how we'd be pressed to the ground if we're travelling at the speed of that. And they're like, no, don't worry about that. Like, it's the same here. They rationalise everything. And like, you have people challenging them in these comment sections on each of these articles, like saying, what the fuck are you on about? Like, are you mad? And they're all like, oh, you sheep, and you know, can't you see that this is a thing? And you know, you're fucked, mate, and all, you know, that kind of stuff. And there's some fantastic comments, but I picked one of the best ones. I just want to read you some excerpts from it. So it begins. I live in central Liverpool.
Yeah, what a loser.
And as far as I can remember, since I was a little kid, January, February and March weather has been clear, cold, sunny days with occasional rain, hail and snow. I have only in the past year started to become aware of the chemtrailing operations. I've observed that we have had very little sun since Christmas Day. There was no chemtrails on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. You've got this guy looking out the window every day going, are the chemtrails about today? However, Boxing Day onto New Year's Eve was a continuous bombardment of chemtrails blanketing the sky. This guy should have been J.R.R. Tolkien's son. Maybe the NWO keep Christmas Day sacred, like when in World War One the British and German soldiers would call a truce and play a game of football on no man's land.
What, the one time they did that?
You can picture the NWO sort of stood there in their black robes. They're in their black robes in their secret headquarters, which is a castle. Lightning strikes and all that in the background. They stood there and they're like, Christmas Day and Christmas Eve are sacred. Let's forget about it this day.
It's not just because, like no one travels on Christmas Day or anything like that.
No, it's not because planes mainly don't sort of fly much during those things. Oh, and another thing they think is that like it's unidentified jets that do it. Like commercial airlines, nah, they don't chemtrail. Like no, it's unidentified aircraft chemtrail. Not that they could just go on Sky, not Skyscanner. There's this website you can check the planes that are in the sky right now, and you can see all of them are marked. And sometimes you have military aircraft that they're flying from one base to the other or doing training exercises. They're not chemtrailing. And also they say that there was one comment on here, and I can't find it. I can't be asked to find it now. But it's basically like they're saying some guy was like, look, it's commercial aircraft. And they're like, no, commercial aircraft fly at 30,000 feet. These bastards that are chemtrailing is flying much lower. Oh, you ignorant asshole. Like that kind of thing. That's like, dude, have you got like a fucking meter stick? Are you like measuring these planes? How do you know that they're flying lower? Like, are you an expert at avian things? And their usernames are always things like common sense is stupid and scientist. Literally, one of them is just called scientist.
I know what I'm talking about.
Another one is called common sense, and one's called Mark Patterson.
Fucking hell, Mark!
As if he'd use his real name. What an idiot!
His real name's Pat Markinson.
I hope people look at this. Right. The fact of the matter, continuing this comment, the fact of the matter is we are under attack by technologically superior forces of evil. I avoid going out on heavy chemtrail days unless absolutely necessary. This guy looks up in the sky and goes, we're under attack. Get under the table, kids. His wife's like, please, I need food. We haven't eaten in a week. Fuck you.
If you want to go outside and risk it,
you're not allowed back in. He's got like an airlock on the inside of his house.
Walks out one of those like fucking nuclear rad suits, whatever you call them.
I have HEPA filters in each room of my house running 24/7, and I filter my tap water using a Brita filter. So this NWO are poisoning the water as well, according to this guy, but it's okay because there's a Brita filter. That'll protect you.
Good advertising for Brita filters as well.
NWO are like, drats, this guy's foiling us with his Brita filter.
Fuck you, Brita. We will own you soon.
And it's like, I have no clue as to how we can put an end to this tyranny. The sheeple are becoming increasingly dumb. People, he used that unironically. I want to put that out there. Becoming increasingly dumbed down day by day. I've been attempting to raise awareness of this heinous crime against humanity by placing chemtrail awareness stickers around public places, i.e. bus stops, schools, universities, etc. This arsehole is crazy is going to schools and putting chemtrail stickers on places. He's doing more harm than chemtrails can. This global and not just UK abomination is being orchestrated by a very government, aka the New World Order.
I want you to reply to this guy and say, how do you know the New World Order doesn't own Brita? And really you're filtering more chemtrails into your water.
We have an explanation.
Oh wait, hang on.
We need a fucking miracle to save us. God bless. And don't let the chemtrails bite. You put God bless there, so it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. God bless, like...
Just a religious zenith.
No. It's fine. God will save him. It's fine. Don't worry. God's got his back. He'll fight the chemtrails. Jesus. Whew.
Yeah, literally.
Woo! Yeah. Woo! God's gonna save him. Woo!
Oh, it's gone Ric Flair. Only Ric Flair can defeat the New World Order and Hulk Hogan.
We need a miracle. God's gonna provide it. He's got us covered. Don't worry, guys. Sit at home. Use your Brita filters. God will save the day. Against chemtrails. Oh, what if God is spreading the chemtrails? What if
they're all doomed?
They're just the ashes of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Saviour. And every day he rises from the dead in that cave, rolls aside the border with the boulder with his magic powers in Jerusalem or outside of Jerusalem. Where was he actually crucified again?
Actually, don't know.
Was it outside Jerusalem?
Probably Jerusalem.
Something like that. He rolls the boulder aside. They come to bathe his body. He ain't there anymore. And they're like, oh, that Jesus is at it again. Chemtrail day. And then they grind him up, put him in chemtrail canisters, then spray him across the earth.
But you just said they didn't find him. How are they going to grind him up if he's not there?
because someone's already ground him up, which is why they can't find him, obviously. Come on. Have you not read the Bible, Callum?
No.
What's wrong with you, boy? This man has read the Bible. I actually read quite a bit of the Bible, to be fair.
Not me.
And, it's basically it's Jesus' ashes. That's what chemtrails. That's my explanation.
What if it's Harambe's ashes?
You can't do that to me right now. I'm in a sensitive place in my life. You can't do that. Don't you come up here with your Harambe ass shit.
Harambe.
Jesus Christ.
Harambe.
That's the real crime of our generation. Forget chemtrails, that's a real conspiracy theory. What did Harambe know that the NWO didn't want us to? Think about it. You think about it. You may laugh now. When the NWO takes over and they're feeding us the chemtrails by hand, shoveling chemtrails.
Why, Harambe? Why?
This is what I just like. What do people think? Like the supply chain.
I just love that bit. We present hard, irrefutable evidence
In the directive, but like the supply chain to make something like this happen logistically on a global level.
It is still working.
On a global level, to have this happen logistically is absolutely unthinkable. Like, and undercover as well. Like, and they say, oh, we have whistleblowers that have already said, and they've got like 17-minute videos of people that are clearly insane, rambling to a crowd of other people that are insane, saying, well, this is irrefutable proof. And it's like, no, it's not irrefutable because it can be interpreted completely differently, like you're doing. But I suppose that's just like religious people in the Bible or the Quran or the what's the Jewish one called
Torah.
again? The Torah. Interpreted any way people want to, and they can say it's fact because they say they have evidence, but it's actually them interpreting the evidence. Same with chemtrails. And the best explanation, so their proof for this, and this is the final thing I'll say about it. So they say they have proof, and one of it is in the Sahara, they found some materials that have been broken down by acid in the sand. Right? And they say, oh, well, you don't have acid forming in the Sahara Desert and all that, so it must be from these chemtrails. And the chemtrails are falling on the sand, and they're morphing the sand and with the acid and turning them into these compounds. Don't know what the compound is, can't remember. And then basically the simple explanation for it is acid rain, which already exists as a form of global warming. But they say acid rain is chemtrails. Like, that is a formation of chemtrails, and it's actually just the natural reaction of things like carbon dioxide and that in the atmosphere with other pollution forming it. And you don't need that type of reactive. I remember looking into some of the comments, you don't need that sort of reactive, you don't need a very highly reactive acid for it to form the compounds that they were talking about.
What can you buy?
Let's have a
All I
look.
saw was the
Should we have a look at their
basket?
shop?
They
They've got
have
a
a
shop.
shop?
They've got a shop. This is going to be fantastic.
Oh my god, there are t-shirts.
Wow, this is a scam basically. If you believe in this shit, you're the kind of person that would buy a t-shirt and fund the idiots who are either actually very smart and like to sort of prey on mentally ill people. So there's one that's called Ban Geoengineering hoodie.
I do not consent. Ban geoengineering.
With a picture. Do you know what? That logo there of the plane with the chemtrails behind it, that'd make a very good t-shirt for us. That's actually what I was kind of thinking.
From far away, it looks like a baby's bottle.
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, or a robot penis. Oh, Jesus. And then there's chemtrails geoengineering car window
A
stickers.
fucking rainwater test kit and analysis.
There's a UK water distiller by Mega Home. There's
Oh,
charcoal
Mega Home.
filter stallets. There's distiller cleaning crystals. And then there's chemtrails protection. These people are making a fortune from idiots. A
Go
fortune.
back up. What's the one? That UK water distiller, 100 and... Oh,
24
it's
to
been reduced
134.
from £220.
Yep. And they've got a chemtrails protection collodial. Oh, it's like a reduction, like a sort of dropper thing. And then you've got 500 flyers of Are They Destroying Our Environment flyers for 20 quid. That is insane.
Oh my god. Well, they've got 10,000...
They've got more Instagram followers than us. They've got 7. Guys, we need to beat them.
They have 1 subscriber on Vine.
Let's go for...
Who the fuck is the 1 subscriber on Vine?
Let's go for 8 followers on Instagram so we can beat these chemtrail assholes.
Come on, people.
We can do this. Jet Fuel Express.
They've also got 36 YouTube subscribers.
Jesus Christ.
These guys are a menace.
Jesus wept.
Even Jesus is fucking crying.
He's
like
crying chemtrails. do you know on the cross, you have some of those crosses where people claim that like the Jesus statue is crying and stuff. Chemtrails. That's chemtrails. Everything that goes wrong in my life now, chemtrails.
People blame God. I blame chemtrails.
It's gonna be my thing now. That's gonna be my new ironic, non-ironic thing that I do. I'm moving on from Harambe. I'm declaring it right here. It's now gonna be chemtrails.
We need to make like counteract t-shirts to their t-shirts.
I'm wearing an anti-chemtrail t-shirt. Everyone knows that chemtrails don't react with red things.
Which we do actually make T-shirts that we say actually do shit that
Anti-chemtrails. Although that's called false advertising, which
No,
is highly illegal.
But we put it in the description.
With an
that
asterisk saying results may vary or something like that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like people know we're taking the piss, like actively taking the piss.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's not false advertising if we tell you we're actually taking the piss.
Exactly. And we're meant to make some money from idiots, so that's cool.
Yeah.
That's foundation of capitalism. What's going on? Oh.
Oh
my goodness.
God, no.
Right, so then moving on from this, so that was our part one of our conspiracy thing anyway. Just a bit of a laugh, a bit of poking fun at
We
some
hope you
conspiracy
enjoyed it.
nuts. We hope you enjoyed this episode with a bit of ASMR. ASMR even. Right, so now we're going to move on to a topic suggested by Guy a couple of weeks ago that we finally got around to, and it is
Because
about.
he never does that.
No, he suggested a lot of really good topics for us. Actually, we're gonna
good.
trundle through them. So keep suggesting them.
So good.
We're gonna keep trundling through them. If you don't hear them the next week, it's because we want to save them for another episode. So
we
we're
might
gonna.
as well just have him write for us.
He gave us through. I actually want him on the episode. When I go back up to
I know,
Lincoln,
yeah, we wanna
we're
get
gonna have him on a Skype call and get him in this
get one.
episode because he can't keep suggesting topics like this and not expect to be on.
Exactly.
So it's the
Taylor Swift would like to suggest a topic.
Tay Tay.
Tay Tay.
Tay Tay. No, I'm not gonna say. I was gonna say I was about to cringe myself to death. Then I was gonna say, watch me. Tay Tay, watch me whip, watch me. Kill me! Kill me!
This is now a one-man show.
I'm actually okay with this. I'm actually going to lay back and do the rest of the episode like this, so no one will be able to hear me. Hello. Now I'm coming out the other ear.
I have it all mono, by the way.
Oh.
For the
Well,
video.
that failed that joke.
I have it all
Yeah,
mono.
but we have a lot more audio listeners. Oh, no, actually, to be fair, our views on YouTube are very steady now.
Yeah.
We get a good, and I know it doesn't sound like much. Some people will be like, haha, PewDiePie's got 45 million
Well, I hope I have
followers.
more in mono anyway.
But we have a good like 25 people now that watch our videos
That's
each
good.
week, and audio listeners we have quite a lot as well. So it's good. We've got an even mix. But yeah, so our next one was suggested by Guy. It's basically whether a unified world government would be, so moving from the New World Order, which is supposedly a unified world government, to whether a unified world government would be effective or not. Do we think so? Do we not think so?
Words?
Well, it depends on the form that unified world government would take. Because one of the biggest issues that we face, even in the UK itself, in a tiny island, is awareness of issues in local communities. So obviously we've got a two-tier sort of system-ish, where we have local government, which are your councils, and then we have central government, which is the executive, so it's the MPs in London in Parliament and the cabinet and all that kind of thing. So that's the sort of two-tier democracy that we live in, where we elect local people to deal with local issues and then feed up. But if you notice, it doesn't work too well because the government don't provide enough funding to local governments.
Yeah.
And they limit the powers of the local government, obviously, so it can't interfere with legislation that they put forwards. Then take that one step further, and all of a sudden you then, because we got Europe, and people say Europe is not working democratically, and you can argue that until the cows come home, but it's just it's another layer of democracy. Sorry, it's another layer of decision making that affects people within that one area. And then imagine expanding that to the world, where you have the UK in Europe, in the world. Yeah, and then you'd have people making decisions in the council, feeding up to the local council, feeding up to the government, so central government, feeding up to the continent, feeding up to the world, and then that back down again. I think that would be a really cumbersome, bureaucratic thing. You'd either need to completely devolve power, or not at all.
Yeah.
Because at the moment it's inefficient as it is. I mean, I like the idea, having like one currency across the world so everyone uses the same. I like having that, but one, it'd be enforcement of issues. So say if you legislated and said it's now illegal to produce oil in quantities over X amount, so a percentage. Saudi Arabia based their entire economy on oil, which is thankfully fucking dying, and they're having to diversify away from that. But yeah, so say for example they said it can only be 20% of your thing because we need to spread out. We need to spread it out so that everyone's prospering rather than just like one nation when it comes to oil. It gives us better security for fuel. And Saudi Arabia turns around and says, no, we're not doing it. How do you enforce that? Because then all of a sudden you'd have these old sort of alliances forming in the world government, and that where you'd have like Saudi Arabia in the Middle East saying, no, we're not doing that. And then it breaks down straight away and you have regionalism again. Rather than globalization, you have regionalism.
You send in Putin.
And that's enough. Yeah, well, think about it. Like, you have strong leaders, people like Putin, that have their own way of doing things. Like, no, I'm doing this way. It won't work. Like,
unless you gave it all to Putin.
No. Once again, that's a dangerous thing, because if you look at the UN, which is not really the same. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the UN, you have the Security Council, and they're the people that really make decisions in the UN, and that's a rotating 5. I think it's 5. Is it? No, it's more than 5. I think. Nations that are sort of seen as the most powerful nations or the most democratic or whatever. Joe will know more about that. But they sort of really make the decisions, and that's already sort of a really screwed up thing, because all of a sudden you have these people that are at the head of the world that make decisions for your country. I don't know. At this moment in time,
you'd have no chance.
I think if it were, and this sounds like a really sort of far-fetched idea, but I think if you were to colonise other worlds, places like Mars and all that, then you'd have a need for a representatives of a planet. You see what I'm saying? That's when you would need a unified world government, because you'd have trade things.
So, yeah.
But at the moment, there's no need for it. So there is a need for it, because it'd be better for unification. But people don't want unification, because we're an individual species. We like having our own culture.
People want to be able to do their own thing.
Well, we have different cultures. Like people don't have the same expectations of each other.
It could end up being communist, really.
For example, there are some places like Saudi Arabia still believe that they have a right to own slaves. And we're so against that, because it's a terrible thing from our point of view, and from the people and from the slaves' point of view in Saudi Arabia. Even though they say they're not slaves, they take away their passports from people like Bangladesh.
Exactly, yeah.
So they can't leave. That's a terrible thing. Do we do anything about it now? No, and we're not even in a world government. Yet we won't stand up to them. Imagine what it would be like if we were all together and you have all these different cultural differences. Nothing would ever get done.
We'd nuke them and start again.
We wouldn't. There will never be another.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that if it was a case of like if one country went no, they just got nuked? It's like, okay, anyone else?
After the whole Cold War thing, there will never ever be another nuclear bomb dropped.
If there is, that'll be the end of the world, because everyone will start throwing them.
That's when but mad doesn't work. I mean, look, basically, what should be happening now is that people should be producing not nuclear bombs, but ways of preventing themselves from being hit with nuclear bombs. Because then it just becomes a game of like, well, so what? You've got a nuclear bomb, we don't give a shit anymore. Like China have. Or is it China? No, it's the US put it in the Korean Peninsula. They put a missile defense system there. So if North Korea launches anything, they can shoot it down before it even leaves Korea.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and that's what North Korea kicked up a big fuss about. It was a South Korean and American joint thing. So they both have control.
How are we meant to bomb you, assholes?
Yeah, and now they can be like, no, you're not. Boom, done, down. So that completely neuters a nation's sovereignty, because all of a sudden they can't attack anyone, and it becomes more about who can defend themselves better rather than who can attack better. That's the sort of stance we need to take, and that's a step in the right direction. But I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening even in the next sort of 100, 200 years. It's just too politics, different cultures, different people, different personalities.
No, sorry, Guy, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I don't think Guy wanted it. I think Guy was just putting it there as a sort of a very good discussion topic. But
okay.
What do you think? Do you think it would work? Do you see any form in which it does work?
Again, it only works if it's like a sort of dictatorship, sort of like again, like a Stalin sort of thing. It would only work if everyone felt forced to sort of do it, and then it's against human nature.
But then look at North Korea, where they have that.
Yeah.
Like, for example,
it looks fun,
Kim
but
Jong-un,
it ain't fun.
Kim Jong-un in the last week just executed 2 of his top officials with an anti-air gun, like flat cannon, because one fell asleep in a meeting that he was presiding over, and another was putting in legislation pushing for it that would have counteracted what he wanted.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But what I mean is that shows that his regime doesn't work.
I know it doesn't work.
He's having to kill
That's what I'm trying to
keep
say.
himself in
Like,
power.
the only way it's going to work is if you make sure everyone follows what you want to do.
That will never happen.
And it will never happen. Because everyone, like you said, has their own different views on everything. Did it gone cold?
Oh god, that was terrible.
Has it gone really cold?
Cappuccinos.
Nice.
Is lukewarm, which is the worst.
That's even worse. When it's cold, you can do it. But
that was terrible.
But no, it again, like you said, like especially when you see like like there's a documentary. Is it Reggie Yates? He's in BBC or whatever it is. I think it's Reggie something. He went to Russia and did like a part series documentary, and they had like a protest thing or whatever, and he's the one black guy there.
Yeah.
And he knows all eyes are on him, and it's just like anywhere else in the world, or almost anywhere else in the world, that wouldn't be an issue.
No, but in Russia it is, yeah.
And so how can you get them to agree on? Like,
can you imagine working
can you imagine
working with different countries in Africa?
Yeah.
Like that'd be a nightmare.
The conversation alone would start a war.
Just the conversation wouldn't happen. They just wouldn't come to the table.
Imagine them just like meeting up within 5 seconds. They would want to kill each other.
Just as an interesting tidbit, like if places want to invest in somewhere, and China have already seen the opportunity, Africa is the place. They have such a gigantic amount of untapped resources, raw resources.
No one wants to go there.
We're studying them in one module I was glad for. It's terribly taught, but it's really interesting. Was international business. We had a woman that was from Africa. She was an African lecturer that came over to the UK to lecture, and she focused a lot on the African continent. She was like, not a lot of people understand the business opportunities that are there, and it was really interesting. She said, like, if you want to invest in somewhere, Africa has all these raw resources, but they don't have the ability to exploit them. So other countries are putting aside all the, there's a lot of like political, military issues and corruption issues in Africa, and they're coming in, putting their own infrastructure in to allow them to exploit these resources they've got, these natural endowments, and they're making a lot of money from it. China are making a lot of money, and while they're doing that, the wealth of Africa is increasing. They're gaining industry, so it benefits both parties. It's creating jobs and creating infrastructure, creating tax revenue.
But again, like you said, a lot of the African governments are quite dictator in their own right.
But that's because of an issue with. So we looked at this once again. It was an issue with rapid advancement in technology. They were unnaturally accelerated in advancement. They didn't have an industrial revolution like a lot of the Western world did, and like Russia did, where naturally you've gone through the phases of creating industry and infrastructure around your natural endowments and around your advantages. There's a lot of trade theories I won't go into because it's fucking boring. Well, it's not boring to me, but it's boring to a lot of people. Basically what it is, we went through the industrial revolution in sort of the early 1800s to early 1900s, where we started building machinery based around the industries that works for us best, because it was sustainable, yeah? Whereas in Africa what you had is, we went over there, colonised, but a lot of technology they just didn't have, and a lot of values that their culture at the time wasn't compatible with, yeah? And then as a result you have this weird sort of twisted, warped advancement where they have all this equipment but none of the cultural companionship to go along with it, like the ability to create that sustainable industry and bring up values through their sort of generations to use them naturally and to create businesses around them. And as a result, sort of like when we pulled out, places like Zimbabwe is a perfect example. They chased out a lot of the they killed and chased out a lot of the Western things, salted the land as a sort of protest, and then turned around and went, actually, we don't know how to farm or use any of this technology we have to farm. And then you have hyperinflation.
Yeah, and now a loaf of bread costs like 20 trillion Zimbabwean dollars.
Zimbabwean dollars are gone.
What are they now?
They just use American dollars.
They just use American dollars.
And it's really sad, actually. There's a story. I read a really long article in The Guardian, and it was like this woman went to she had something like 200 million Zimbabwean dollars or something in a bank, and Zimbabwe said for a week you can transfer any of your Zimbabwean dollars into dollars. She took a bus from her town to the city, wherever it was, and she exchanged all this money over, and they gave her less money than the bus ticket cost, and that was all her life savings. Isn't that sad? Isn't that really sad? And she was like, basically, I've lost money by doing this. And it's like, what the fuck do I do now? And it's kind of like, Jesus Christ. But that is once again because they didn't have that. And as a result, you get corrupt governments in place who want to retain the life they have but don't have the abilities around them to naturally generate their revenue. So they have to extract that from the people in sort of immoral ways. I'm going to say immoral because there's no such thing as evil or anything like that. It's just immoral ways. So you have this weird sort of sites like South Africa. Once again, you have a very Western point of view from one end, and then you have a very sort of African attitude as well, and it's caused their economy to collapse too. I mean, I have a South African friend. His dad retired, went back to South Africa. He's had to come back and do locum work in the UK because he just can't. There's no jobs out there. There's no industry. The money's terrible. Exchange rate's awful. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean. See, because of issues like that, a unified world government could help. Because if Africa could come to the negotiating table equally, because they had this thing called the Doha round of these trade talks that were going on around the world, and they created their own sort of little side thing because the trade talks that were going on were only benefiting advanced countries, well, more advanced countries. So places like Saudi Arabia, the African continent, like sub-Saharan Africa, I'm talking about mainly. They said, right, we're going to form this thing called the Doha rounds of talks. They started like discussing with each other, saying, what are we going to do? And then nothing happened as a result, because none of them sort of have anything that each other want. They could come to the table on an equal footing in a unified world government and say, we need industry, we can provide you with the raw resources if you provide investment, blah blah. If they had that platform to talk, I think there'd be a lot of advancement. But first world, for advanced countries like us, we already got good trade agreements. Well, we had good trade agreements, and there are new ones developing, you know, very sort of temperamental ones and very sort of what do you call them, controversial trade agreements that are being made at the moment. Things like the TTIP and the transatlantic one. Talks between the US and the EU failed, by the way, this week. Big trade talks failed completely. Both stepped away from the table, back to the drawing board.
Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah, basically you've got this really, really big situation where unified world government, the Western world doesn't really give a damn about it because we're already sort of there. We know where we are. We know how to negotiate with people. We've got our supply chains up. We've got businesses that are globalized and already trade across the world. But for third world countries or countries that are still economically advancing, they need it, but they're not going to get it.
Again, like you said, like the key word was equal. Like,
Equal
footing. Like,
And no one wants to be equal.
But the thing, not just that, but I mean, like places like Russia, they're not human beings. They don't look at them as a human being.
I hate to say it, but it is improving. That before you couldn't have open protest, and now you've got videos. And I watch Russian YouTube sometimes, like Russian YouTubers. There's one called No Fuckers, and he talks in English, but he always links to like Russian YouTube and talks about drama in the Russian YouTube community. And there's this trend going on in Russia at the moment where people are doing protest videos, but they're going to Catholic Orthodox churches in Russia playing Pokemon Go because the Russian government have said that it's evil and it's like against God and all that. So there's protests. These teenagers are going into Russian churches and filming themselves playing Pokemon Go. It's like, yeah, fuck yeah. It means a lot more over there than it does here.
Yeah.
But like over there, I was like, oh, you can't do that. Like, oh my God, like you're crazy. But 10 years ago, they'd been disappeared. They'd have been fucked.
Oh yeah, they'd been gone.
Now you have things like Pussy Riot, which is that band that were, although they were arrested and stuff, like the fact that they weren't like disappeared and killed, hate to say it, that is an advancement of sorts. So yeah, things are improving, but once again, it's to whose standards. Like our standard, like we've talked about before.
Close.
Well, no, but the thing is, our standard isn't necessarily the universal standard.
No, but you know,
For us, it is.
well, no, I don't think we have the best standard either.
Not at all.
No one really has.
America's free, but their literacy rates and mathematical rates are on the lowest in the world.
It's not free. It's like,
Well, no,
it's one
but-
of the most unfree countries in the Western world.
Sorry, they have the most opportunities.
They have the most opportunities.
In terms of like, if you say I want to start a vape business,
You can just do it.
then you just do it, and there's
If you
no
want-
sort of like.
If you want to buy a gun and shoot someone, you can
They're
just
very
do it.
encouraging towards each other, and there's this like weird thing in that country. Everyone sort of believes that anything's possible, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I respect them for their the belief. Like they have
Yeah.
such a diehard America's the greatest country in the world, and they love that sort of
But
thing.
that's why they're such a strong nation, because they
Yeah.
believe in those kind of
But
things.
then it also leads to people who are too far on it, like
Trump. Yeah, I mean, but once again, like
we get that over here as well.
when we're talking.
Like
That's
the
when-
dudes who got fucking St. George's flag tattooed on
That's
their
when we're
arm.
talking about these standards, though. Like, so for example, if Africa had that kind of belief, would that make them different? But they don't have that kind of belief because their cultures come from a completely different place.
Exactly.
So, a unified world government, you'd have all these different weird islands of people, if you know what I mean. I'm not talking about islands physically. I mean in this world government, where they have shared cultural values, and then you get a weird sort of regionalism form where you have political parties formed of countries with similar interests. And then we're back to the main issue, which is things like the European Union and why people don't believe that worked.
Yep.
So I want it to work because I think it'd be a lot fairer, and I think a lot of people would benefit from
More
it.
opportunities and everything.
But at the
like
same
that. It's just
time,
we don't
one,
gel.
we don't need it. We don't need it as a nation, and two,
Other countries wouldn't gel.
other countries wouldn't gel at all. They wouldn't gel at all.
No.
That's why we have trade areas, because already people have worked out it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like from Saudi Arabia, we'll take oil and we'll sell them weapons, but we wouldn't sit down at we wouldn't sit down at a negotiation table and talk. Well, we have, but we shouldn't sit at a table and talk about human rights things because they just don't have any.
They don't. No.
You know. But yeah, and we sell them weapons to help them keep the people down and fight and fun. By the way, the weapons that we sell them are making their way to ISIS somehow, which is really interesting. So that's something to think about. You know, that's why world government doesn't work. Things like that. Can you imagine that world government? They find out. Well, we already know that Saudi Arabia are directly funding ISIS.
Yep.
And we still trade with them and sell them weapons. Good job, UK.
Let's blame Theresa May. It's easier. Actually, no. Let's blame Jeremy Corbyn because it's always Jeremy Corbyn's fault. Everything's Jeremy Corbyn's fault. Harambe was Jeremy Corbyn's fault.
Do you see the train? Do you see the train thing? Where
oh, for fuck's sake!
It's the most ridiculous thing. They're literally trying anything they can to discredit that man now. I don't want Jeremy Corbyn as a leader.
Now, though.
But like they're trying anything they can to dig dirt on that man. But do you see? They expect him to win because a lot of his former shadow cabinet that resigned have come back to Jeremy and said, "Can we have our jobs back if you win?"
Yeah.
This is against Owen Smith.
But they know he's going to win.
They do. And once he's won, that's it. Like they can't argue with him anymore.
They can't dispute it until after the next election.
Because if he wins his leadership back, like he would have done that in the face of probably the biggest adversity against a leader I've seen in my lifetime. In terms of people with 23 years.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been following politics since I was probably about 14. Yeah. The most amount of political adversity in the media, in his own party, in the opposition. If he still wins, like, that is it. You can't dispute that people want him as a leader anymore because people will have voted him in against that. But they're trying anything. It's so dirty and it's so obvious that the media do not want him in. He's such a threat to people for some reason. I mean, I don't like his policies, but if he wins, I will sit there and I will allow him to reside over that party and I will say, yes, that's fine. I don't agree with your direction, but I will do the right thing. Rather than attacking you as a person, I'll attack your policies.
Yeah.
That is what you
should
do.
be doing.
In the media, like, I mean, he did this publicity stunt that every single fucking politician does. All of them do it, but only he gets called out on it because he's Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
Where he went on a train that was packed and there were reserved seats that he was walking past. This is the thing that I have an issue with. They were saying, oh, he walked past. So Virgin went out of their way to release footage, CCTV footage. They went out of their way to find the moment that he went and sat on the floor and said, look at all these empty seats he walked past that are unreserved. And then if you have a look, there are tickets that are reserved tickets in each one of their seats. Yeah. They're saying, oh, he could have just sat in one. He's Jeremy Corbyn. It's like, no, the whole fucking point is that he is trying to say, I'm a normal person. Yeah. I sit on the floor because the trains are too busy.
Yeah.
And even if there was, and then they said, oh, but look, there's an unreserved seat over there. He said, yeah, I want to sit with my wife.
Exactly, yeah.
And also, not only that, because people are going to say, oh, well, him and his wife could have just sat separately, right? Fair comment.
Yeah.
He said, actually, no, I had my whole political team with me as well, and we were planning. I was on my way to a hustings. He said, and we were preparing a plan, so we sat on the floor because there weren't enough seats around to plan this thing. Yeah. Just like other business people do when they're having meetings on the trains. So they're attacking him, and they're just trying to discredit him in any way, and it's pathetic. Pathetic.
Because I saw his interview when someone asked him about it, and it was like about an NHS thing, and the guy was trying to ask him questions about it. It's like, oh, come on, like, ask me questions about the NHS.
Yeah, I heard that quote actually.
And the guy was like, oh no, I'm a journalist. I'm allowed to ask you whatever I want. And he's like, no, fair enough, you are.
You're derailing the conversation.
Yeah, we're here about the NHS,
like a really important, life-saving thing.
And Jeremy was like, fine, ask your question. Just do it.
Yeah,
let me get out of the way. I'll put you in your place, and then we'll carry on.
Yeah,
and he did.
Like, it's ridiculous, and it makes me sad. It makes me sad because it just shows that they do not want to fight him on an equal footing. No. They would do anything they can, anything, rather than, it's just not politics anymore. It's like playground bullying, where they won't. A boy comes into school dressed in a different way.
Tweed suit.
Yeah, in a tweed suit that isn't £20,000.
He made himself.
Yeah, he made himself. You know, comes into a playground and he has different views. He likes different music to other people, and he likes, different video games to other people and all that kind of shit. And people don't say, we don't like the fact that you are saying this. They make fun of his appearance, about his interests, about that instead, because they feel threatened by him, because he has different views that other people don't necessarily like.
Views that the majority of the people do like.
He got voted in, legitimately.
Surprisingly, yeah.
But he got voted in.
Yeah.
Theresa May didn't get voted in.
And she's Prime Minister.
By a party, and she is Prime Minister, yet no one's attacking her for her extremely authoritarian things. Did you notice how she's been completely quiet? She's been on holiday. She's proposing all these things, but it's all behind the scenes because she's a snake. She doesn't have the balls to ever air any of her views.
She's a woman.
No. That's yeah, it's a joke, obviously, but just so people know that it was a joke, But she's a snake because she won't air her views. She's quite happy to sit back and attack other people from behind the scenes and put things in under the radar and propose things. But she won't ever say them above the board. She won't ever come out in a press conference and say, "Hey, look, I'm thinking this," because she's a snake. She's a terrible, terrible thing for the Conservative Party.
Like I said, I didn't like Cameron that much. But at least when he came out and he was wrong, he was like,
he's a reformer. He was a reformer.
Wrong. Yeah, he goes, I want to do this. I want to do this.
Yeah.
And when it was wrong, he was like, I was wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, I think Cameron is actually one of these guys that was underappreciated in his time. I attacked him a fair bit because I didn't like a lot of his policies, but I respected him as a politician because even though I didn't agree with his views, he was still, although he did the typical Eton boy playground thing of attacking each other personally, he still had policies and he tried to bring everything back to the middle. Tony Blair actually said this would be the last thing I do because I don't want to bore people with politics, but Tony Blair said, well, actually no, I'm not going to bore you with politics, it's important to talk about, but still. He said basically the time of the centre is gone. He said, in my time, if you came out and said in our party, in the Labour Party, do you know what, I don't like the Conservatives, but I agree with what they're saying here. He said, people would have challenged you, but we could have had a discussion about it. He said, in today's Labour Party, if you ever say, I agree with this one thing the Conservatives said, you're branded a traitor. And he said, that is politics today. He said, there is no room left for the centre anymore. So basically, we've got this really weird thing where politics over the last 10 years was coming from one end of the spectrum to another towards the centre, and now it's moving further away from the centre and back to the left. You've got the left with the Conservatives, you've got the left with Jeremy Corbyn, the far left with Jeremy Corbyn, and then the far right with Theresa May.
It's like they bounced off each other when they met.
Well, there's a theory, isn't there, that it's all a circle. It's not a line, it's a circle, and policies always move around in a circle in opposite ends, then they meet in the middle, and they continue back around again. It's just the natural cycle of things. But yeah, it's a really interesting time we're in. It's because of all this uncertainty as well. I think we need strong leaders now because of the situation we're in with the European Union, because of the situation we're in with the economy, because of the situation we're in with society and the way that it is, with the underlying threats that the media keep fucking blowing out of proportion. People seem to think we need strong leaders. Theresa May, whether I like it or not, although she's a snake, she's a strong personality. And Corbyn, he has his views, but he is a strong personality. And what I've liked, by the way, Corbyn has retained his, what's the word for it? His standards, not standards, like his decorum throughout the whole thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
He hasn't lashed out at anyone. Or...
No, he's just been very sort of level-headed, but just carrying on. It's like sort of like bounce off, you know, blah.
That's all he can do.
Yeah, and that's the first politician I've seen that's just done that, where he doesn't sort of give credence to it. He doesn't pay attention to it. He just sort of like whatever, like the train thing, where he's like, look, we're here to talk about the NHS. Any other politician have been jumping on that and turning it around and trying to sort of like bullshit their way through it. Yeah. He just went, look, we're here to talk about this. We're here about the issue, not about me. And they went, no, I want to know. And he's like, right, for fuck's sake, blah blah. Can we move on?
Yeah.
You know, that is what you want to see.
Exactly.
And it's weird, and also it's weird for me that that's come from Labour. As strange as that sounds, obviously normally it's a party for the working class. Normally Labour are the ones that are sort of trying to cling to people's. They're a party of people, you know, they're for the people, blah blah. So they have to try and cling on to people's emotions and try and address issues.
The people are the ones that keep the Labour Party afloat.
Because it's a lot of it is because of how sensitive they are to the unions. Whereas the Tories are kind of they can ignore people.
Well, they've got donors.
They can ignore that, right? Because they don't have the unions nagging at them all the time and saying, we need to know your views on this because we've got a group of people here that...
What was it? It was like it recently came out, I think, is it Leica Mobile or something like that?
Yeah.
Like paid the Conservatives such and such millions. Oh, look, then didn't pay any corporation tax. That's a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, it's also fucked. Lobbying, if you think that's bad, the lobbying system in the US is so much worse. But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, I know, but
that's...
We need to move on because, like I say... But like in the US, everything's worse than that. Hence why gun laws
there's more money in it. There's more money in it. So there's more things at stake.
What else we got?
Right, so we've got some other topics that other people suggested this week. So obviously we've done the one that Guy just said, which evolved into a really interesting discussion. So thank you for that, Guy. Always giving us good ones. Now we have other topics. So Jake Brown suggested the Great British Bake Off for us to talk about. I love the Great British Bake Off.
I don't watch it.
You don't watch the Great British Bake Off?
I have watched it and I enjoyed it.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I just don't really watch live television that much.
Highlight of my week. Yeah, I watch it on iPlayer. The same evening, but just later.
I still don't watch it.
Do you know the premise of it?
Yeah.
You ever watched it before?
I've watched it before.
Do you know who Mary Berry is? Paul Hollywood.
I know Paul Hollywood.
Mary Berry's the old one.
She's the old one. Yeah. I don't know that. I know Paul Hollywood.
And this year, it was a cracking start.
Yeah.
First episode came out. I think the second episode's this week. Is it tonight? Is it on Tuesday night?
I don't know. I hope it's tonight.
That'd be good. Or is it Wednesdays? I think it may be Wednesdays. Anyway, So this year it's been really good, and I already fancy one of the candidates. Like, she's going to be the future Mrs. Mulholland without marrying me. She's going to change her name by default.
Chris is
Is she keeping her name?
Chris is hyphenating.
No. Why?
And her name goes first.
Oh my! That's really good. Why get married? Like, why? Why do it? It's
I love
2016.
you, man. I do love you.
Why?
I love you,
Why
still.
do it? Chris, please no. Chris, don't do it. Chris, no. I don't know you, man, but seriously, just it's not too late. The ring's not on.
It made me laugh so much.
The ring's not on. You don't have to change your name. You don't have to get bound to her for life. There's so much. How old is he?
It's our age.
There is so much more left of your life, and you are tying yourself down right now. You may love this girl now, and it's fantastic, but think in 20 years' time, okay? Think in 20 years' time.
But again, like I said, like because they hyphenate, the kids, they're just going to go with the first last name.
So basically, he has no claim even on the children.
That's what I mean.
So eventually, when they get divorced, because divorce is just
Yeah.
what happens to 50%, more than 50% of marriages
Yeah.
nowadays. Let's
It's
be
true,
real.
unfortunately,
Let's
yeah.
be real, Chris. I'm not poo-pooing your marriage. I'm very happy for you. I'm very happy for other people that get married. But let's be real. Let's talk statistics. There is a 1 in 2 chance that a divorce may happen. Okay. All right, Chris. Stay with me. Please don't get angry. I can see you getting a little bit angry, Chris, and getting offended. Please don't get offended. I'm just talking about 20 years' time. You've got 20 great years still. Don't worry about it. You're going to have kids, so you're going to have a great time. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to go to the Isle of Wight. It's going to be great. You're going to go...
You won't go to the Isle of Wight because you know people there.
You're gonna find that guy whose girlfriend keeps sleeping around with everyone. You may have an affair. That's not up to me. That's not up to you. It's just 20 years' time. Don't worry, right?
You're right if you buy them a shot.
If she leaves and the kids only have her name, you think fathers have it bad now? You think fathers have it bad now in court when they go for custody? What's going to happen, Chris? What's going to happen when they don't even have your name? Does Chris listen?
I have no idea.
You should probably tell Chris not to listen to this
I'm
episode.
gonna hope he doesn't, to be honest.
Chris, I'm joking. Have a great marriage. Okay. I actually can't think of anything nice to say about marriage. I can't.
He did make an. I know he made an argument about it, but I
Is he
really can't
realistic
remember.
about it, or is it like quite romantic at the moment for him? And like, has he thought about this kind of shit?
He made an argument about it when I brought it up.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he said though because I was drinking. But I mean, he was set on it. So
Bless him. No, it's nice though.
I mean,
It's
like I
nice.
said, they talked
Like-
about it and stuff. So that's why I was a bit like,
But no, but
fine,
it's nice.
you
Like,
know?
I think the thing is, if you go into marriage, like talking about these things is practical, because these days marriage isn't an oath anymore, like we've talked about before. It's sort of a, it's
like a contract.
It's a declaration. No, it's not even a contract. You can get out of the contract. So it's not really a
Exactly,
real contract.
divorce.
So it's not really a contract because the clause is there and you can take it with no consequence. Really, sort of financially, you've already shared everything anyway. It's one of those weird things. It's more of just sort of a declaration, an excuse for a party nowadays, and that's cool, man. Like, it's great. It's not for me because I think it spits in the face of what an oath is, but I'm happy. I'm happy for people getting married. I am happy because my parents got married. I was there. I think it's very happy. It makes them happy, and if
Yeah.
it makes you happy,
Well, if it makes them happy,
fantastic.
that's fine, yeah.
But I think the worst thing is bringing kids into shit like that. So if you're gonna have kids, Chris, make sure you hyphenate their name too. Let them know who you are.
I
As
know.
well.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. They'll still have hyphenated names.
You should have two. Give one of them her name, one of them your name, and then if you split, you can just divide them up that way. So she gets custody of the one with her name. You get
What if
custody.
you put
of
his
the one
name on the shit kid? It's like, damn, I'm stuck with this fucker.
Then do you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna sit down with that kid every Wednesday. He's gonna flick on the TV. He's gonna watch Great British Bake Off.
I was gonna say you should just train him to fight McGregor.
I'm not gonna do it.
You've got
I've got
him.
my glasses.
You've
I'm not
got
gonna do it. No. Do you know why?
I tried to trigger you there.
'Cause I'm the Rolling Storm.
I tried to trigger you.
I am the Eye of the Hurricane.
That could be your fate.
He's not gonna see me coming. Or the Eye of the Hurricane.
No, Rolling Storm.
Oh! Tom, Rolling Storm, Mulholland. I'll get a t-shirt.
I was gonna say, get a t-shirt.
Get a
of that
t-shirt.
one.
We're gonna have those clouds. You know the clouds that like roll across the clear sky
Yeah.
with like a lightning bolt. He's not gonna know what hit him. Chris, Rolling Stone. What's his name gonna be when he hyphenates it?
Blake Ross.
Blake. Sounds like a really shitty 1980s singer. Blake Ross.
Yeah, because people are taking a piss out because you have 3 first names.
Oh
Chris,
no,
Blake Ross.
Blake Ross. No, Chris. I hope you have a great wedding, man.
Don't know why, because I'm gonna be there.
And when you're at the Eden Project, look around, look out the glass. That's the last freedom you're ever going to see. You were trapped in a metal cage where you own the key and you can just get out anytime you want. So I mean, really, you're not actually locked into anything. So actually, you're fine. Don't worry. This is what I mean. This is the duplicity for me, because the argument is like, and one of my old bosses actually challenged me on this. She said to me, so you don't believe in marriage because you believe that the oath is invalid? And I was like, yeah, I'd never do it because I want A, someone else owning my belongings, and B, because it's just bullshit. It's like a fake oath. And she's like, well, what's the problem if you can get out of it any time? I'm like, yeah, it's true, but then that sort of spits in the face of why you get married in the first place. She's like, but your argument's cyclical. And I was like, yeah, that's why I'd never do it, because it's a bit of a confusing mess. this is my problem with it. Like,
I already am a confusing mess. I don't need to add more shit to my life.
Yeah, like, I really fucking struggle enough as it is, being like, which way is up, you know? Like, I need some woman confusing shit. But yeah, so Great British Bake Off, yeah, I like it. Candice is going to be the future Miss Mulholland. She's really saucy, man. But then there's also an older lady. I can't remember her name right now, but she dances when she cooks. She's into like her aerobics and stuff. She's like in her 70s, I think, 70s or 80s. She dances when she's like making cakes, and she talks to the cakes, and she is adorable.
That's so cute.
She's just like one of my friends that I know up at uni. I won't name them, but
okay.
Yeah, she's like one of my friends at uni. But like 70 years on.
But this is one of the reasons why we're going to IKEA, because I need to buy baking stuff. Even though I don't watch Bake Off, I need to bake
In the spirit
stuff.
of Bake Off, I made bread. I baked some really nice.
So I made truffles.
Parmesan, tomato, and basil bread.
Did you try one of my truffles?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
No, you didn't. You had the brownies.
I had the brownies. Brownies were
truffles
good.
Are really good.
Brownies good. Very dense. I liked it.
I'm gonna make a Guinness cake.
You better give me some.
I will. I'll save some. Yeah.
I've got some Guinness crisps that are chili Guinness crisps.
Yeah, they're quite nice. You can get them at the Guinness Storehouse.
We've got them from B&M.
You can get everything at the Guinness Storehouse.
B&M. They sell Reese's chocolate bars that are giant, and they're basically each square is like a little Reese's piece. No, little Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah.
What's that film? Is it 51st Dates? With a big Hawaiian guy that goes, peanut butter cup?
I don't know. I've never seen that.
Peanut butter cup? Don't ask.
What else we got?
So we got another topic suggestion. This comes from James Smurden. I knew James I've known James for over a year now, and his surname spelled Smerdon. I called him Smearden for like a year, and he only corrected me as we were finishing uni. He was like, "You know it's Smurden, right?" I'm like, "Yes, I was just mocking you the whole year."
Do you know my last name was Mulneverlands? Haha.
I've never heard that joke before, Callum.
No, really?
It's the first time. No. James Smurden, thank you for writing in. He suggested the Justice League Dark, which was just announced, and I've got a little addendum to that topic as well. Sorry, an addition of the Batfleck film.
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke has been announced as a villain, so we've got two major pieces of DC movie news.
Might be Beast playing it. You know
that would make all of my dreams come true.
Did you know he's in the Suicide Squad film?
No. Who has?
Clint Eastwood's son's in the Suicide Squad.
No. Who?
What do you mean who? Like who he plays?
Yeah.
He's one of the soldiers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't he the lead soldier?
No, not the guy with not North. He's like part of his team.
Oh,
he looks like.
I didn't notice him.
Yeah, I pointed out to you.
No, you did point him out to me, but I didn't notice which one it was. You just said to me, "Oh, Clint Eastwood's
People say one of the cast members went over to film, but I don't know if it's a Justice League film or whatever.
I hope
and they think it's him.
That'd be a really cool story. Yeah. That'd be a really cool way of doing it. But yeah, so Justice League Dark. I'm just going to bring up a list of the members because I can't remember verbatim which one was which.
So what's Justice League Dark? Is it like
so it's got Constantine, the magician.
I mean, is it like a comic series? Or?
Oh yeah. So basically, they're like a Justice League made of like magic users, from my understanding. I've read a couple of random issues when they were including other events. I'm just going to put Justice League Dark. I'm going to read you the name of the people. So, who is it that's in there?
That was him, innit?
He looks a lot like Clint Eastwood.
I know,
he
really
does.
Good,
Jesus, yeah. Right. So I'm pleased he went on to be an actor as well. So you have, who are the members? You have John Constantine. Now, for people who don't know John Constantine, he's a British magic user that's into like dark arts and stuff. He's sold his soul to a devil, to many demons has been passed around, and it's very gritty, sort of very realistic-y stuff with magic included. He's quite a big part of the Justice League Dark. You have Madame Xanadu. I don't know a lot about Madame Xanadu. You have Deadman. Now, Deadman's really cool. In Injustice, Gods Among Us, which is the one where Superman takes over and is evil that we talked about last week, Dick Grayson becomes Deadman. Basically, he's dead. He is dead, but he's a soul, and he can form solid things. He has like some sort of powers, like he can fly and all that. But the coolest part about him is he can possess other people and control them, which is really cool.
Possess Batman.
Zatanna.
That's the magician.
Zatanna, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Batman sleeps with her once.
She wears a leotard with fishnet things and a magician's hat.
Yeah.
She's a very powerful magic user,
nice.
and her magic is she says the incantations backwards, and that's how she uses magic, which is really cool. She plays a massive part in Injustice.
I know there's a story in one of the comics where like she like erases part of Batman's mind because he knows something that he wants to fight the Justice League on. And she's just like, no, sorry, Bruce.
And then Raven, who is from Teen Titans, if anyone remembers.
That Raven, yeah,
She's the daughter of a
like
demon.
Angry, horrible demon.
Yeah,
Who's in the Teen Titans?
Do you know his name?
Teen Titans fight him.
Yeah, and he's a major part of Injustice, Gods Among Us Season 4. But yeah, and she's got demonic powers. She can travel between dimensions. She spends a lot of time in the comics not on the same plane of existence as anyone else. She kind of comes in just to fuck stuff up and then goes back again. Frankenstein, don't know anything about Frankenstein.
Swamp Thing.
Oh yes, you say Swamp Thing like that. He's one of the most powerful people in the DC universe. He can basically control nature.
So Frankenstein is literally just Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Created by Victor Frankenstein.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, Shade.
Madame Xanadu, so she's a mystic and fortune teller, apparently. We're just looking at the descriptions of the team at the moment. Who's the daughter? Trigon. Her dad's name is Trigon. That's it. He's basically Satan.
Oh, yeah.
That's him, yeah? You remember?
Dude.
And then Swamp Thing, he's recruited apparently in issues 19 to 21. But yeah, he spends most of his time away from civilization, and he only really gives a shit if it affects nature. So Justice League Dark are like people.
So him and Poison Ivy would be like power couple.
Yeah, they are. In Injustice, you say that. In Injustice, they both team up. So Poison Ivy's brought in to fight Swamp Thing because he's like the big, powerful part of Superman's team who's evil. So Batman knocks out Poison Ivy and just drops her out of his jet into Swamp Thing's thing, and they start fighting at first. And they're actually like, while we're fighting, we both love nature. Let's fuck up everyone else because they both hate civilization, and the fight that's going on is damaging all the trees and stuff. So they go berserk and end up like absolutely destroying both teams of people. They're like hilariously powerful. And yeah, it's all a bit of a.
You'll get your phone back out.
Oh, eh?
Would you rather?
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, you get a lot of crazy things. But yeah, they're basically brought in to fight evil magic threats, so that people like the normal Justice League can't fight. Because Superman's greatest weakness next to Kryptonite is magic. He can't fight magic, apart from when he becomes like Red Sun Superman. He's like insanely powerful.
So kids' birthday parties is just useless.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. A magician comes. He's like, oh,
flowers.
Yeah, like David Blaine turns up and he's just like, oh my god.
Could you imagine that? Like Batman's gonna fight Superman and he goes, no, wait a minute, and just gets David Blaine to come out from the side. Get him, Dave.
I once slept in an ice cube for 2 weeks. I once spent 12 hours in a tank of water.
Watch, this blade is going through my hand, but it isn't.
Dynamo's just like, I walked through a pane of glass.
Dynamo would be more funny because Dynamo just looks like he's like.
He's got Crohn's disease, isn't he?
He just looks like he's dying.
Yeah, he does look quite ill.
Him beating Superman would be like the most hilarious story ever.
Right. So yeah, basically James wanted to ask like what we thought of it and that. I think it's be cool.
It sounds kind of cool.
There's always more room for superhero films,
cool.
And I like the magic thing because obviously Doctor Strange is coming out after. What's it after? I think it's after the Wonder Woman film. Obviously, Doctor Strange part of the Marvel universe.
Is that this year or next year?
This year. Doctor Strange this year. Looks pretty good. Magic. Because so far we've had there's three wings of Marvel. You've got the super universe, which is just like standard superheroes like Spider-Man and all that
Avengers.
Kind of stuff. And then you've got
Assemble.
Then you've got Marvel Galactic, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. What's the big purple guy called again? Thanos, yeah, that's it. So Thanos, all those kind of things, like the fact. Then you've got the Marvel Supernatural, I think they call it, rather than Marvel Magic or whatever, which is a lost opportunity for alliteration. And that's things like Doctor Strange and all those kind of things. And DC are kind of doing a similar thing, except they don't really have the space thing. They travel out into space a lot, but they don't really have.
Dark Side.
But
that's it.
Apocalypse and things like that.
Well, that's what, Dark Side.
Yeah, because the planet is called Apocalypse. that dark side's on.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, you don't really have a lot of space
There's no,
stuff.
like, I mean, there's no really
It's mostly
like,
magic.
superheroes from space, really.
No.
in DC.
Well, if you notice
Apart
as well,
from Superman.
in DC, most of their people are like, they call them metahumans
Or even
now.
even the Green Lanterns, though. Green Lanterns could count.
No, yeah, that's true. They do patrol space.
Well, they are doing a Green Lanterns core film.
Oh god! Please don't be like the Green Lantern film they did.
Well, Ryan
before
Reynolds
with
ain't going
Ryan
to be in
Reynolds. Yeah, and it's that line in Deadpool where he's like, "Please don't make the suit green and animated."
I need to watch that film again. That's just so
Right.
good.
Now we're going to move on to our standard intro, which is Would You
Outro.
Rather. Outro. That's it.
We're
Welcome to the first and
show.
last ever episode 8 of the Jet Fuel Express.
That was just a prologue.
So, would you...
Hour and a half prologue.
Would you
Actually, hour and
rather-
4 minutes.
This is by an author called GB Bugatti.
I like Bugatti.
Would you rather be ugly and athletic or be cute and unathletic? Would you rather run really fucking
well-
fast and be an ugly fucker so you could catch people that ran away from you?
Well,
Or would you rather be cute and unathletic like me?
well, the question is pretty much, I mean, to be fair, I would probably go for the first one.
Ugly and athletic.
Because, have you seen how many ugly footballers there are
Yeah, mate.
that have,
oh.
like, ridiculously amazing women in their lives?
I don't care if they're just in it for the money, man.
Yeah. You still got to sleep with
I'll
me.
have a shallow relationship over no relationship.
You still have to make eye contact with my ugly face.
And I... But the thing is, I wouldn't be able to get out of my mind. I'd be like, this woman's basically a prostitute. Anyway, 25% agreed with you. Most people would rather be cute and unathletic.
They're so vain. They don't think about it.
I'd rather be cute and unathletic, like I am right now.
Would you rather suck a fat short cock or a long skinny cock?
Is there a neither option?
No. Something that's going to fill out
Short.
the cheeks. Something that's going to fill out
Short.
the cheeks will fill out the throat.
Short.
Short, yeah.
Cheeks, yeah.
47% agreed with you.
That was a shit one.
That's what I did.
Didn't like that.
I enjoyed that one.
Would you rather read minds or go invisible? My answer is clear on this straight away.
I think read minds is quite...
Boom.
Yeah, I mean...
Reading minds, you can take over the world. Going invisible, you can sneak into locker rooms. Reading minds, you would be the best, most romantic person on earth because you could be able to tell exactly what the other person is thinking during
Saying
sex.
that, reading minds, you can do
during
anything.
sex, it would be perfect because you could tell exactly what the other person wanted. You'd be like, I know what you want. I've got this.
Yeah, reading minds looks...
There'd be none of those questions where it's like, do you want me to put it in there?
What was the percentage?
Because do you know you think to yourself? 47% would read minds. So, you know,
So 50%
during
perverts.
sex, you'd be like, because it's always that thing when you're on a date and you're like, does she wanna go home with me or not? Or when you're in a club, does this person actually attracted to me or do they just want free drinks? Or when you're on a date, you're like, does she want to go home tonight? Is she going to power tonight? Or what? With reading minds, you could just be like the most confident person in the world.
But you know exactly
Nothing would
what's
touch
gonna
you. Yeah, people are like, oh, but you'd be so upset because people would think bad things about you. Guess what? I don't give a shit. No one can hate me more than I hate myself.
Yeah,
so
but
I win.
You could be like reading their minds and be like, oh my god, this guy's such a dick.
No.
You could be like, man, you probably think I'm a bit of a dick.
Yeah,
right
no,
now.
yeah,
Like,
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
He realises.
You can turn that shit around. And the thing is as well, if you know, everyone thinks negative things about other people. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Even your best friend, you think negative things about. Everyone does. Like you have little things someone says and you think, oh, that irks me a little bit, but whatever. They're my friend. The same thing. Shit will bounce off of you. If you first few months would be terrible. You'd be a little bit like, oh god, people think I'm a little bit fat and all that. Eventually, you'd be like, do you know what? I don't give a shit because this person thinks I'm hot. That person doesn't think I'm hot. That person thinks I'm an arsehole, but that person doesn't. You suddenly realise, hang on a minute, it's almost as if people have opinions.
Yeah, you'd be like, that person thinks I'm an arsehole, but he's also a Trump supporter, so he's got
That's what I mean. So
Yeah.
you eventually things would bounce off of you, and you'd have one of the most powerful things in the world at your disposal. You could run for office. You could do anything. You'd be the best leader ever.
You're not
great.
You're not doing this one, but this is just
Okay.
amazing. Would you rather watch porn or not? Who's gonna? Oh.
That's a terrible.
I actually kind of want to see the answer, so I'm gonna.
Who says not?
I'm gonna click watch porn. 34% would not.
34% of people are liars.
That's like statistics. What the hell? No, I'm not even gonna read that one.
Did you know 9 out of 10 people would admit to watching porn, and the 1 out of 10 are lying?
Okay.
That was a complete made up statistic, by the way.
Okay, robots annihilation or zombie apocalypse.
Robot annihilation
So
or
like,
zombie
it's like
apocalypse?
Terminators or zombies. Or would you rather like destroy the planet?
Robots, because I think it would be funnier to see a tumble dryer attacking people. Do you know one of the smart tumble dryers? Just like chasing after you with its fucking its door opening up and it's just spin cycle. It's like it's enraged and its spin cycle's going mad and it gets so angry it shakes itself to death and explodes and you're like
31%
can
agreed with
you
you.
imagine the Toyota you know the Toyota robots they've made where it's like got that massive backpack and it can like barely walk? They're just slowly coming towards you. You just like knock it over with your foot. And like the robots we have wouldn't really do anything. The only things we'd be bad would be the computers that control the nukes. But to be honest, for the first like few hours before they get sentient and do that, I'd be having the time of my life. I'd go into a Curry's PC world and all these laptops would just be snapping open and shut and showing violent pornography. The best time of my life. Yeah, so would you rather go to the beach? No, I'm not going to ask you that one.
No, 'cause I don't like the beach. What was the other option?
Okay, I'm going to tell you this one. You don't do this one because it's like the gayest thing in the world. Would you rather date Akeno Himajima from High School DxD or date Rias Gremory from High School DxD? It's an anime question.
I was going to say that sounded very, very Japanese.
Right. Would you rather... Oh no, I'm not asking that one. Would you rather be a legendary ninja or a legendary knight? That's a good one.
That's a very
There's
good
no
one.
such thing as a legendary ninja because the whole point is they weren't supposed to know who you were.
Remember that legendary ninja? No, good.
Did you know ninjas actually didn't wear black? They wear dark blue. The reason that people think ninjas wear black is because because stagehands in Japanese kabuki theatre wore black because they were the ones that made things happen behind the scenes. You weren't supposed to see them.
Yeah.
That's where they got that sort of cultural
Why
idea
do they wear
from.
dark blue then?
Just what the cloth they had, I guess. Or
Yeah. Well, I think in that sense I'd rather be a knight because if you want to be a legendary knight, you've got to be known.
20% agree.
Because ninjas are more badass.
80% of people would want to be Naruto.
Ninjas are more badass. I'll give them that. But like, I mean, to be fair, anyone can fucking get annoyed.
Senpai, notice me. I throw kunai.
This is a question for Fat Tom.
Yeah, go on.
Would you rather eat cake or eat chocolate?
You know I love a good bit of cake. Moist lemon drizzle.
45% agreed with that.
Mary Berry, come to me. Right.
Fat Tom almost got out there.
Oh, we've got a advert. Tap a block and break it. Don't topple the tower though.
Oh no!
Oh no! He
Just
toppled the tower. You knob. Didn't you read the
naughty boy.
instructions? You're supposed to be advertising this game. 6. Play now. That's our sponsorship.
Yeah, we're not even getting fucking paid for that one.
Would you rather have no phone or no computer? They're both the same thing though.
I was going to say probably no computer because I like having my phone with me all the time.
74% agree.
Yeah. I mean, I love my computer, but I don't need it that much.
That's a bit crap.
I need it for like this. I know, these aren't really good questions. We should probably do like a push the button one or something next time.
We'll find a better game for next time.
Would you be the kid to get dragged in the gorilla's pen or be a guy who was accused of raping a cat? So would you be the guy who got Harambe shot or would you be the guy who raped a cat?
I'd rather be the cat, man.
You'd rape a cat?
I would
a guy
never.
who was
I would
accused of raping a cat.
I
doesn't
would.
mean you raped
I
a
would
cat.
never. No, I don't do things by half measures, Callum. I
So
would
accused
never.
of good reason.
I would never have anything to do with the death of an innocent gorilla, ever. What a piece of shit that kid is. That kid should have died. That's natural selection. They interfered with natural. They fucked up the natural order of things by killing
He
Harambe.
wasn't even going to kill the kid.
He was just playful, man.
Yeah.
That's what gorillas do. They drag children through water. Standard. I mean, do you not watch fucking David Attenborough documentaries? Like, and now we have the silverback gorilla, who is dragging his young through the river. He must be shot. Do you hear that? I don't ever hear that. I hear he drags his young through the water, and the young stands up, tall, knowing that one day he too shall be the one that drags his young through the water.
And then gets shot for no reason.
And then is shot in a zoo in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Did you see that to shut down the Twitter account?
Yeah.
They were like, we're really upset by the death of Harambe. Please stop sending us memes.
So they send nothing but me. It's like the Beyonce thing all over again.
The Streisand effect.
Yeah, Streisand effect, that's it. 30% agree with you, by the way.
Yeah,
They'd
well,
rather rape a cat then.
accused of raping a cat.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
Yeah, but
most
you just said you don't do things
Most
half
people
measures.
do half measures, Callum.
You
This
don't
man
do half
doesn't.
measures.
Right. I'm a metropolitan man.
You rape cats.
Would you rather eat bacon or drink Dr. Pepper?
Eat bacon.
That's a shit one. I'm not even going to give you that.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Would you rather wear flip-flops or wear sandals? The real questions that matter.
I
Jet
hate
Fuel Express.
Both.
Skip then.
I hate men who wear flip-flops. They should be shot.
Ooh.
They should
Would
be
you rather
shot.
know when you're going to die or know how you're going to die? Now that's a good one.
I think I'd rather know how I'm going to die.
And why's that?
Because if you can know when you're going to die, you've got the specific date, and you think, well, everything up to this point, you know, like, how are you going to die?
They don't mention here whether you're going to change, whether you're going to be able to change it though.
Because no, I'm not saying you can. I don't think. I'm thinking you can't.
But you can get
change
your
it.
affairs in order and stuff.
That's for when, but for how, I'm thinking no, 'cause you can't change it. So say if they say you get hit by a bus, that can happen any time crossing the road.
Literally.
So
literally any time.
it wouldn't make me change how I'm going to like do anything.
I wouldn't change how I live my life.
But
No.
if it was something really like obscure, like you're going to get killed by a swamp thing.
Then you stay away from swamps.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm never going to Florida.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean,
And then
because
Swamp Thing just like happens to take a vacation to England.
I would rather know when, because I can get everything. I know like how long I've got then, and if it's like 70 years, then I'm like,
that would
cool.
scare me.
No, man, it
Because
wouldn't
I
be.
have a due date.
No, but
that I know.
for the first year or so, like if you've even got a year, like you'd be
That's
really
what I
sort
mean.
of fucked
I
up.
hate
But
that.
at least then you'd know, and you can sort of like live your life. Like, think if it's 60 years, then you can think, right, I'm going to go out and get a wife, and I'm going to have kids.
You're
and,
not.
No, I'm not. But you know what I mean, like fucking standard nuclear family shit. You can go out and do that boring asshole thing.
Hyphenate.
Or yeah, you get hyphenate. Chris, don't do it. And then alternatively, you can, if you know that you've got 10 years, I think fuck this. Like, I'm just going to go and do the shit I want to do because I've only got 10 years. That's like nothing. I wouldn't look at it negatively because it's going to happen. Everyone dies one day. It's a terrible fact about life, but we're born to die. That's just the way it is. So if you know you've got a short time than this, you know you have to live more in that time. If you know how you're going to die, you wouldn't want to do anything because you're too afraid of that thing happening. You should lock yourself away. See what I'm saying? If you're told you die in a car crash, you'd never get in a car again. You'd never be able to go anywhere.
I still would. Because I can't prevent it.
I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't.
You'd never get in a car again.
No. Because if I knew I was going to die by a car crash, instinctively I'd be like, well, fuck that. I'm going to try and delay it as long as I
What if
can.
it was a case of like, say, like you had a heart attack, you got
Yeah,
an
and then
ambulance,
get an ambulance and then
that
instant
kind of
crash.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. But I would avoid any situation where...
No.
So it would destroy a lot of opportunities for you to go out and live your life.
Well, you can
Whereas
still
if you know
have that
when, you just go out and live because you know it's going to happen on a day. So you
Yeah.
can't avoid it because you don't know how it's going to happen.
I have anxiety anyway, so that just stops me
That's
from
what I
doing
mean.
stuff anyway.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It basically gives you crippling
No, but so would
anxiety.
knowing when I'm going to die.
Why?
Just because it'd be like, I have this long to live.
Yeah.
And
so
every
you better
second
live
that-
then.
Yeah, but I have anxiety. I can't live.
Yeah, but you. So for anyone that doesn't suffer from anxiety, then it would be. Well, maybe it would be a wake-up call. Maybe it'd be a kind of like, oh shit.
I'd like to think so.
Maybe it would
I
because you'd
doubt
be
it,
like, actually,
but I'd
hang on,
like
I've
to
got a
think so.
finite amount of time.
Yeah.
YOLO and all that.
I'd probably just be on my PlayStation till I died.
Damn, grinding those platinum trophies. So you're going with knowing how you are going to die. 58% of people agreed with you. 58% of people are stupid. Bit of ASMR for you.
Keep it going.
I hope that can be picked up by the microphone.
Keep it going.
I think it's going to be picked up by the
It's
microphone.
fine. It's going to get compressed to shit anyway, so.
That'd be amazing.
I had to do it for the video. And I can't believe I still did it for the video. I'm so
That looks
impressed with
good.
myself.
It did look really good, to be fair.
No, look, sound. It's all about sound.
No, you know what I meant. It was good. It was nice.
That's a stupid question.
Should we take a load of
Wow.
multivitamins and drink it down with some whiskey and then go for a drive?
Well, we're going for a drive anyway.
Yay!
These are all really bad questions. I want an advert. No, I'm not doing it. Screw it. End it there.
An advert ruined it. God damn you,
It's giving
Six.
me so many shitty questions and then gives me an advert. It can go fuck off.
I tell you about to start rapping then. Shitty questions.
I might make a song now called Shitty Questions.
You should do it.
I'll
I
get
should
Femi
I'll
on
make a
it.
song one day about a city in the sea.
What, Atlantis?
No. Actually, maybe you could tell us the story of Atlantis.
It's sunk.
No, like from a person's perspective or something. That'd be a cool idea for a song. Like as the disaster's happening, like their life, and then the disaster happens on the same day.
Oh no, a flood.
No.
We're dead.
I was thinking more rock opera, like soft rock, like
Queen.
no, more like Meatloafy style.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it could work. He's just sitting here deleting all his emails if you can't see this.
I am. So I'm looking for one from the student loans company because I made a payment today, and I wanted to make sure. Yeah, I've got it. Sorry. Gripping podcast things for the outro.
Oh yeah.
Right, I'm going to get out the laptop because I have a few things to mention today in the outro.
Yeah.
I'm going to crack out the old running order because we make notes.
That's
We're
not the running
organised.
order.
That is Prince Amaya of the House Amethyst.
There it is.
Copyright.
Damn it!
Right, so yeah, just once again, I wanted to mention the subreddit. So go check us out on there. We post every episode, post some cool memes and stuff. It's a r/Jet Fuel Express. That's an EX rather than just an Express. I'm creating a Twitter account as well for us to post cool news stories, interact with you guys a little bit more. We're going to link that up to our Facebook and Instagram too. We're thinking of starting a Tumblr where we basically ironically post triggering content just for the sake of being controversial. We're on YouTube and iTunes and Soundcloud as we are every week. You can check us out there. If you haven't already, give us a subscribe, please. It'd be very good. You get to keep up with the latest episodes and news and content. We're going to be producing some content outside of this as well. We're thinking of doing a separate podcast, 2 a week. They're still related to Jet Fuel Express, but it's more focused towards a certain topic. We'll explain more later on. We have a Facebook, which is Jet Fuel Express, and I've written Twitter twice for some reason.
One for the Jet Fuel one and one for ours.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, that's it. Thank you. And you can follow us individually on Twitter. I am at the Mol Holland, which is THEMUL. Holland is in the country.
It's not the country.
And I am also on Instagram and Snapchat with those very same usernames.
It's not the country. It's the Netherlands.
Fucking fight me.
No, you got to fight McGregor first.
Right. What is your?
He's getting the glasses. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. It's triggered. It's been triggered.
McGregor.
Oh, here we go.
This is the Rolling Storm. This fist is called Thunder. This fist is called Lightning. You ever been sodomized by thunder and lightning? You're gonna be at UFC 220. You're fucking dead. I'm gonna take you to Pound Town. You think George Bush fucked up those Twin Towers? I'm gonna fuck you up harder. You're a dead man walking. Might as well change your wrestling name to that. And what you do is wrestling, not fighting. You're a pretender. Yeah, it goes good subplots like Booker T used to. Why don't you breakdance, you little bitch? I should do wrestling promos.
I'm at Sparky Go Lucky.
Can you spell that out for the nice people?
No.
Spell it out for those nice people right now. SPARKYGOLARKY.
Damn right.
I should have won all those spelling bees. I'm going to go back in time.
Oh, the best McGregor spelling bee.
Spelling bee edition.
Spelling bee 101.
Spell McGregor. That's right, McGregor. You can't even spell your own name. I wouldn't wear sunglasses. Is disallowed in the national spelling bee competitions.
Why?
Because it's rude, yo.
Okay.
You don't wear them in school, do you?
Unless you've got eye problems.
Why are we allowed to wear sunglasses at school?
I don't know, we weren't allowed to be cool, that's why.
Well, we were allowed to be, just some of us couldn't be.
There was a footballer who used to wear like special sunglasses. Do you know that?
I was too busy watching Naruto and Bleach at school to be cool.
You know that though? Footballer used to wear specialised like sunglasses.
Why?
Because he had eye problems.
I shouldn't be playing football then, should he?
He was really good at it.
Hashtag against disability. No, I'm joking. That's cool though. It's cool they do stuff like that. It should be allowed though, things like that. Because they have those goggles, didn't they? They like wrap around their head and like it stops them from falling off mid-match. Like the same when they have like a neck. Is it a neck injury or an eye injury? They wear something around their face.
Well, they get a face injury and they wear like a mask.
That's it, the mask. That's what I'm thinking
And
of. Looks like a
everyone
Jason
takes the piss out of
X.
them 'cause it
Looks like a
Zorro.
Jason mask. But yeah, so yeah, this has been the first and last ever episode 8. I was about to say just ever.
Goodbye.
The first and last ever episode 8 of the Jet Fuel Express. Thank you for joining us this week, and we'll have another packed episode for you next week.
Which probably won't have Femi in either.
We want you back, Femi. We want you in this episode.
Just don't die again.
So next week will be possibly my penultimate episode in Dunstable. For now.
It won't be us sitting together.
We'll be separated, so it's
I'll
going to be
have
a new
personal
format.
space.
Which is why the whole video thing is the way it is at the moment. Because of the way we're like sat next to each other. But when we're in Skype things, it's going to be completely different. We'll record video separately and then cut it together. So
I'm going to make my head bigger than his head.
that's not too hard, to be fair.
No. It's not.
But yeah, so thank you for joining us this week. And we will see you next week. Make sure, I forgot to say, make sure you comment, like, subscribe. You know what to do. You lovely people. Would really appreciate it. And yeah, we're out.
Partner.
Cue music.
We don't know what song it's on.
Bye, video.